Good evening, everyone. This is Vinnie. I am the co-creator of Through the Woods, the main creator of City of Venus. Tonight, I have a couple of special guests. We have on both mics. We got Mike Murphy, Michael Beacon, Red Gaze.
What
So,
up?
guys, if you want to say hello real quick.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Give me a aloha.
No.
Good stuff. All right. So tonight, we're gonna have some fun. I want to thank my chat so far, whoever popped up or who's gonna be popping up. James is fantastic. This guy's always dropping the best links and saying the coolest shit. So yeah, man. He said the art is too good for EVS to overlook, and Mike Miller, not to thieve from. Vinnie Tarmel will be streaming live with Murphy and Beacon regarding their books. So, James, you're fantastic. That made me laugh my ass off. These guys loved it too. Noah is first in here, so that's awesome. El Gargoyle, what's up, buddy? Tonight I do want to talk about a little bit my friends Carla and John. They're the creators from Grim Reaper. Let me hit the share button real quick. They had a tragedy happen. I'm assuming this was a house fire. I don't know the full details yet about it, but I know they're in need of some help. They lost pretty much everything. It's really messed up. I did drop a link to them as well. I know things are messed up right now, but if they do get a chance to pop on, I'm definitely going to bring them on. I know they have another campaign that's going to be launching. Well, it's supposed to be launching on Saturday. I'm not aware of what's still going on with that either. But yeah, if you guys can help out, we put the link. It's in the description. James Hayes, I think he dropped it as well. I'm not too sure, but if he didn't, someone else I think will be dropping it in there. But it is in the description. So if you can, please help their GoFundMe. They're amazing creators. They're only asking for about 400 more. I'm not even sure who. Nick set this up. So anything you could do, because this is horrible. Imagine if you lost everything. Your world would be pretty much destroyed. Thankfully, they're okay. I'm glad they're all right. Again, looking forward to talking to them at some point soon, just to kind of know what happened and to make sure no other pets or anything were hurt either. I again, kind of in the dark, but so we'll find out in time.
Yeah,
but
I can tell you this much. John did contact me and said he does still want to stream on Saturday. I don't know what that means exactly, but if nothing else, we'll bring more attention to this.
All right.
Oh, awesome. Very good. So yeah, guys, please keep sharing as much as you can. Oh no, Malin stole our views.
Hey, EVS does it to me all the time. Don't feel bad.
Son of a... All right. No, it's all good. People are gonna watch in the rewatch anyway. They always do. So I'm thankful for that. Again, we still have more fun. So speaking of fun, we're gonna get to some great books right now. We're going to start with Mike Murphy and The Gods Fear Me, Book 1.
Oh, I thought we were starting with Pride and Prejudice.
You want to go with Sunsworn? We could do that.
No. That was a joke.
He's coming in hot. All right. So yeah, Mike, tell us about this project. Anyone who hasn't seen it yet, tell them how it came to be, what it's about, all that good stuff.
Can do, man. All right. So the elevator pitch is The Gods Fear Me is the love child of Ghost in the Shell and Call of Cthulhu. 200 years after the fall of man, androids roam the wastelands of Earth, hunting down the elder alien gods who wiped out mankind. One android in particular, Kedzie, has abandoned her duties and is hunting the Puppet King, the alien responsible for disfiguring her in combat by cutting off her arm. It's during this quest for vengeance that she crosses paths with Brian, a young boy who might be the key to saving what little is left of mankind. Book 1 deals with Kedzie's struggling to choose between her obligations towards humanity and her thirst for revenge. The book comes in at 32 pages, and the base tier is $15. There's 2 planned sequels for the very near future, including Volume 2, probably around October of this year. And
Nice.
we'd love to have everyone listening come along with us for the ride.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, this book looks like a lot of fun, man.
Thank
Isn't
you.
it good?
Thanks.
Hell yeah. I know we've been trying to get you on here for a while, and things never lined up properly, but I'm glad you're here tonight.
Likewise, man. It's good to finally like sit down and talk with you.
Oh man, absolutely. I love talking to other creators, CGers. Yeah, man, we're doing a lot. We're all helping out each other.
For sure.
And yeah, I'm more than happy promoting books. It's
That's
just
awesome.
you know how it is. It's like the time and schedule is always strange. So like whenever I could do one, I'll do one. Sometimes I
Right.
do them back-to-back days. I try to make it consistent though. I usually try to make it like on like 7 p.m. That way
Right.
people are kind of aware of it. But yeah, man, dude, I like this stuff.
Thanks, man.
This is gonna be really, really fun. Yeah, cool. That character I like that design a lot.
Yeah, like so originally The Gods Fear Me was a pilot book that we shopped around a few years ago. So there was a rough design for her down, but you know, I made a couple tweaks to it and then passed all of that off to Kristen Rossi and was like, look, just do your thing and knock it out of the park. And I think he's given us like a really lean, mean, like perfect version of Kedzie.
That's cool, man. Yeah, good designers, good creative teams. They're hard to come by, but like once you get things working, yeah, you really fly.
Yeah, man. Like, I always say, like, ever since I first read Trespasser from Alterna, I was like, I got to work with this guy.
Cool, man. Very cool. Oh, I didn't even see what you were up to. Yeah, what stretch goal is the next one you're looking to hit?
Next up is 10K, which unlocks full color for the interiors, and I'll be doing the coloring for the book.
Oh, very nice. Let me see how far you are from that. Oh, dude, you're very close.
Yeah, we're like less than 1,500 away.
Man, yeah, guys, girls, anyone watching, yeah, please jump back these books. Yeah, you want it in full color. Yeah, the work is looking so damn good. Let's give them a little bit more here. Tell us what this featured tier is.
Sure. So featured is the swag bag that we brought over from Samurai and Dinosaurs. It's going to get you the base book, the prequel novella. You're also going to be getting a trading card, a sticker, 2 postcards, and a poster of the main cover, which is either going to be designed by Kristen, or if we hit 12K, will be done by Donald DeLay.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's see this, the Million Eyes of the Conqueror.
Yeah, so the next 2 tiers are the digital copies. The Million Eyes for Our Conqueror is the prequel novella, and you know, like then there's the main digital copy itself. So yeah, the Million Eyes for Our Conqueror. So with Samurai, which people are hopefully going to see, like if I can start shipping this month, I'm still waiting on their printer, but that's a whole other thing.
Right.
So with Samurai, you know, I basically followed Ethan's model of like there's the main book and then there's a prequel mini comic, and I really like that format because I feel like it lets people, you know, get in on more lore if that's what they're into, as opposed to just like the main story.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, as an artist, like I'm extremely slow. So coming out of the prequel for Samurai, I was like, okay, like I can't realistically do that again with like the amount of campaigns that I'm gonna be like co-running this year. So I came up with the idea of like, well, if so much of the story is like rooted in Lovecraft, you know, maybe if I made the prequel into a short little novella and made it look like a little pulp story or dime novel, like that would be keeping with like the aesthetic of Gods Fear Me, and you know, I'd be way faster at pumping out prose.
Yeah. Again, people, they keep misunderstanding, or they don't realize like doing crowdfunding, we're still learning a lot. Even with me, I've launched a bunch of campaigns already, but everything's been fulfilled. But each one, I'm still learning a ton of stuff. So yeah, bear in mind with anyone who, if they're scratching their heads on certain things, just, you could reach out, talk to the creators. That's the one good thing I really love about how our community is that we are very accessible to fans and, and their concerns. So.
Yeah, like it's, I mean, and on the creative end of things, like obviously like things are going to go wrong. Obviously there's going to be things that you didn't take into account.
Right.
Just be honest about it. Like don't not update for like 3 or 4 months. Don't dodge questions. Like if there's a problem, just be honest about it, and 9 times out of 10 your audience is going to understand.
Absolutely, man. That's very cool. So yeah, $10 you get the digital. So that's cool. Let me see, 15 for the actual physical book.
Yep.
That's
and
a
then
damn good price.
And then 15 for the alternate cover.
Beautiful. Yeah, this one's cool.
Yeah, Preston killed it. There's a full version of that like further down the page as we get there.
Cool, man. Yeah, he's an okay artist. I'm breaking his balls. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's incredible, man.
Yeah, I've had him on a number of times already. I love his projects. I can't wait for the relaunch too of Doc Salem.
Man, I think this time around he's going to kill it with Doc Salem.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad that he's doing the Rockabilly one first. That one looks really good too and a lot of fun. I think it'll get a lot of eyes on him as well. Because I know.
Yeah, and I've seen little bits of like what he's got cooking up with Micah, and I think that book's going to be incredible.
It's like that kind of medieval one.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty badass. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So wait, did I miss one? Physical and the prequel novella. All right.
Yeah, bundled together.
Beautiful. For 50, it's the international exclusive. So what's that?
Yeah, so that's basically what your boy Zach offers with all of his campaigns. If you're overseas and you've got a friend relatively close by who also wants to get in on the campaign, but international shipping is a monster, you two can go in on this one. I'll knock $10 off the cost of what combined shipping would be. And just it goes to one of your addresses and then you divvy it up once it gets there.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little break for people. Yeah, that's definitely a smart move. I gotta say, it's the first campaign I've heard about that. I didn't know that your boy Zach was doing that as well.
Yeah, that's totally where I cribbed it from. It's because the package weighs about as much for like 2 copies instead of 1. On our end, it's not going up that much in terms of price, but shipping them separately would be a monster for like 2 separate overseas purchases.
Right. Very true, man. Yeah, I want to say hello to Sim. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Sim.
Hey. I had sent out links to 2 other people, so if they don't pop up later, I'll get you in if you're still sitting around listening. So yeah, we got a little bit of I think a full panel that's about to happen or very shortly.
Ooh, that's hot.
So, sorry, man. Like I said, if they don't pop on, I'll get you on. All right. So where were we? The support the troops. That one's $110. 2 to you, 3 to the troops.
Yep. Fulfilled via Operation Paperback.
Oh, okay. Cool, man.
Yeah, that's another carryover from Samurai and Dinosaurs, and yeah, like I can't remember who gave me the suggestion way back during that campaign, but it's a way to do a little good, and it really helps like bolster up the the funding.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I like that. It's a good idea, man. Yeah, the troops are they definitely need support, and that's for sure. And they love all those extra little goodies and things. I know I worked with a couple of people in the past. Did some T-shirts for when American Gladiators, when it did kind of like their comeback thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was friends with one of those guys, and I did a T-shirt design for them, and he brought overseas. Yeah, and they ate it up. It was really cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So yeah, much respect. All right, and 180 for shop owners and collectors. So that's
Yep.
Oh, a discount for them then. It's 10 physical copies.
Yeah, just straight up 10 copies, and it's not quite the diamond markdown, but it's close to it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Yeah, people should like that. 250 get drawn into the book.
Yep, 6 slots open for that one. So, you know, at the start, well, in the prequel, when the Madness Engine, which is kind of our stand-in for Cthulhu, when he awakens, 70% of the human race is killed off. And
Sweet.
what
Can
you're
that
gonna-
happen right now?
I know, right?
Wait, we got a list.
It's like 20 pages long.
I'll even take random at this point.
Yeah, right. don't say that. So yeah, like, and what little is left of humanity is put into cryostasis before the android models are rolled into production. These sleeper cities have been erected where like little pockets of humanity are in stasis, and Kedzie is going to be traveling through one or two of them. So you have the opportunity to either be one of those people in stasis, or, without getting into spoilers, there might be an opportunity towards the end of the book for you to be up and about walking around.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Yeah, cool, man. Page of original art, 350. Nice.
Yeah, so we've got pages 1 and 2. Page 3 sold, and these include the base book, so you'll be getting that shipped by me, and the pages are going to be coming directly from Argentina, from Kristen.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's something else. For original artwork, that is a damn good price.
Yeah, like we had to factor a bit in there for like a decent amount for shipping, you know, considering what he's going to have to pack it in to go overseas.
Of course. Yeah, man, because I'm gonna have to start thinking about that in my future campaigns.
Yeah.
The next one I'm launching, I only have one piece that I'm going to be doing that with.
Oh wow!
That's the cover, since it's the only original artwork that's going to be available from Through the Woods. It's the brand new one I did. So yeah, it's going to be a high price for, you know, if there's a big collector who really wants it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, one of those Hail Mary kind of tiers. If it happens, it'll help huge. If not, whatever. I still have it.
Then you can just ship it to me.
Rob a bank first.
All right, you heard it here first. Vinny condones bank robbery.
Whoa!
Up next on Comic Book Hut.
Right.
We got these creators, right, and they're robbing banks now. This is crazy.
I'm making a video right now.
Oh shit! All right, so we got page 2, also $350. Beautiful, nice. Yeah, man. We're always making friends here, aren't we?
Yep. We have the best friends in Comicsgate.
With crazy folk.
Yeah, it's better to have the best friends than the best enemies, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This Schemes and Scams special. Tell us about this and how it even came to be.
Yeah.
I love that name.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So this is our Hail Mary perk. So basically, speaking of good friends of Comicsgate, there was a certain individual who I had a run-in with like about 5 or 6 months ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the very specific amount of $872 was held over my head when I made it clear that I wanted to end our business relationship. And so I wanted to commemorate that amount with this campaign. And you know, it's not just a joke tier. Like, I mean, it is, but if anyone was honestly interested in this, like, you're definitely going to be getting your money's worth. The tier comes with everything listed previously, and on top of that, you're going to be getting a proof copy of the book. You're going to be getting an original 11 by 17 illustration done by both me and Selena Hernandez, my wife and co-publisher of Chibi Comics.
Awesome.
You're going to be getting the original art for page 32, which is the last page in the book, so it's a huge spoiler. So yeah, like you're definitely getting enough bang for your buck with this one.
That's amazing, man. And yeah, I think if anyone does back that, it's a good slap in the face of, you know, horrible schemes and scammers. So
Yep.
that's awesome.
Yep.
You know, I really hope somebody grabs that one.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very cool, man. Oh, these
Wait,
sold out.
I was expecting some white drugs to be included in that tier.
Well, I can't ship those international, so I'm gonna need a mule if I go down that route.
Right. We got a sim cover here, or is this a pinup?
That's a pinup that we're going to be giving away as so basically during the campaign, like the entire community kind of came together to help in getting this funded, and so all physical backers, regardless of if they back the swag tier or not, are going to be getting 2 prints, one by Passion for Drawing and the other one here by Sim.
Oh, very cool, man. Oh, I think I just saw Carla. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see. She was here and then she just vanished. I think I gotta check Twitter real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they can't connect. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I got to keep an eye out. I might have goofed because I forgot when you have multiple people in here and you're sharing screen, you got to scroll.
Mm-hmm.
I just caught like part of it and then she disappeared. So she might have thought that she could come on. Oh, what's this blowback?
Yeah, so that was part of the help from the community. Blowback is going to be a free PDF given out to all backers. It's a short story written by Alan Calmeri, covered by Vic King, and the reason it's part of the campaign is because the interiors are by Kristen Rossi.
Oh, cool.
It's a story that Aaron worked on with him like a year or two ago.
Oh, gotcha. Nice, man. Dude, that work is really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I really want the book to be in full color, and I'm really looking forward to like just drenching those pages in neon. But I don't know, like I'm thinking maybe down the road, once like the trade of this is put together, I might do a separate like newsprint campaign and just do all 3 of these books in black and white because his black and white work is incredible.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that kind of work. Oh, there we go. There's that cover.
Yeah, there it is.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, Preston crushed it. Oh, wait, I see her. One more time. Hey, Carla, you there? It was I saw it was cutting out. The connection, I guess, was weak.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, can you
You're
hear
on
me?
panel, so if it there
Hey,
you are.
Carla.
Howdy.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, guys. Like
Uh-oh.
you're breaking up like crazy. I have a little trouble understanding what you're saying. It's breaking up a lot. But well, I only have one message to tell you, and it's like first of all, we're good. I was the person, the only person inside the house when that happened. I was lucky to get out on time.
Oh, wow.
Nobody else was home, so it was very scary. But like what's really important that it's the health and the safety. That's good. We lost everything, and with everything I mean everything. However, we we are so thankful with you all, guys. Like we we can't believe everything you are doing, like just by your initiative. Like we didn't ask for anything, and you are being so supportive, and we are truly thankful with all of you guys.
Of course, it's a pleasure. If we could do anything, we're gonna help. You know that for sure. You guys are family, um, amazing creators, wonderful people. You know that's why I wanted to send the link anyway to to actually hear from you. And I'm glad you guys are both safe. That had to be terrifying for you to be in the house like that. Yeah, so hopefully when your connections are better too, we could hear more. Hopefully Saturday too. We could find out what happened.
Guys, like we honestly is breaking up really bad, so we don't hear very well what you're saying. Like here's John, he wants to thank you too, guys. Like we're gonna give you this message and come off of the stream because we honestly can't understand. It's breaking up too bad. I don't know why the connection is so bad here.
It's okay.
So
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Hey, Vinny, and all of you guys. This is John.
Hey, John.
Thank you again for everything. It really means a lot to us. We are in kind of rebuilding mode. So thankfully, nothing happened to Carla because she was the one that was in the house when it happened. I wasn't there, but I had to come out of work and go check on her, make sure everything's okay. But all the material stuff you can replace. Obviously, the house is insured, so it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what we can get. Obviously, it's gonna be a battle with insurance and all that, but as far
Right.
as all the material things, you can always replace them and you can get new ones. So
Exactly.
yeah, no, thanks again. Right now we're at a friend's house, and apparently there's not very good connection here, but um, so yeah, we're staying at my mom's, and we're kind of camping out there for now, and until we get everything sorted out. We kind of have to buy everything from scratch, from clothes to electronics and all that stuff. I pretty much
Mhm.
lost all my electronics, so I really have no access to any of my Twitter, nothing. I don't know the passwords to anything, but like I lost all my electronics there, so I'm gonna have to
Wow.
start from scratch. Same thing
That's
with the
crazy.
project. The project was pretty much, man, it was like 95% done. The Grim Reaper 2 was like 95% done. I have a feeling from what we kind of recover, we're gonna pretty much have to start a lot of it from scratch, but we'll do it, and we'll start over. We'll come back strong, positively, and with good attitude. And again, thank you guys for all of you guys do. The CG community keeps showing us how amazing it is and why it exists. And like I said, we're gonna bounce back. We're gonna get back on our feet and keep bringing joy to you guys, to all the fans and to everybody who supports us. Yeah, and thanks to
Absolutely.
Nick, of course. Thanks to
Hmm.
Nick, you're an amazing friend, man. You're an amazing friend, bro, and to you, Vinny, as well.
Oh,
And to Red Gaze as
absolutely.
well. Like I said, we'll see you Saturday. On Saturday, we'll be with better internet connection, so we'll probably be able to talk a lot more because I don't know if you guys are able to hear me right now, but I really cannot hear you at all. But hopefully you guys are getting this message, and we'll talk more about that in the future. Right now, we're just kind of figuring things out. Seeing we're gonna stay for the next couple of days, and then kind of buying everything back. Like it was, it was crazy. It was crazy. There's like absolutely nothing that we had was was saved. You know what I mean? Like everything is just pretty much ashes at this point.
Wow.
So today we're just kind of rebuying all of our clothes, trying to get stuff back and all that. But yeah, for sure. And thank you for this campaign, for this GoFundMe campaign. It really means a lot. It will help us immensely. You have no idea, and we'll definitely put it to good use.
Beautiful, man. Great. I'm really happy you guys are all right. We're sending prayers. We're gonna keep sending some cash. So yeah, keep your chins up. I'm aware you can't really hear us right now, but afterwards, if you get to listen to this on YouTube, you'll know we're all sending our best to you guys. Absolutely. So Thanks again for popping in and letting us know. You guys are all right.
Yes, yes. Everybody said at the time it was Carla alone. All she had was just a burn on her leg. And we both suffer from asthma, but it obviously impacted her the most because she was the one that inhaled the most smoke. But she was with oxygen, and
Oh.
other than that, she didn't require any. She's pretty shaken up. That's all it is. Thinking about the incident a lot. She's never really had to deal with fire in her life. First time, and like I understand, so traumatic
Right.
experience. So she's kind of going through that, and trying to support her as much as I can. What it must have felt like, to be so close to pretty much dying, and but she's safe. She's safe. She's obviously together. We're pulling up, and when with you guys' help, for sure things look a lot brighter for us. And like I said, thanks to all the community, and thanks to everybody who supported in any way. It really means a lot to us, guys. And yeah, so thank you again. And like I said, we're safe, we're good. It's just material loss, and that can be rebought, that can be replaced. It's no big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I said. Thank God you're all right. Thank God Carla's okay. Yeah. Make sure she stays that way. Everyone who's listening, watching, who's going to watch it on a replay, yeah, please help them out. That's devastating for that to have happened. But again, with our help, it's going to add a lot to them. So please do what you can, and if you can't, at least share, retweet, on all different platforms. Do what you can. So thank you guys, and we do understand it if you can't stay or anything, or if it's hard for you guys to hear us. Drop out whenever. No worries.
Yeah.
So.
All right, fellas. I think you guys are cutting off too much, but we'll definitely rewatch the show later on tonight when we get back home, and we'll for sure keep in touch. We'll for sure. If I need to get in touch with any of you guys, will probably be through Carla's Twitter, because like I said, I lost all my stuff. So the only thing we have is this phone right now. And so if I need to get in touch, I'll get in touch for you. I'll keep you guys posted of everything, and thank you again. We'll be talking to you later. Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, take care, man.
Absolutely, my friends. Wow. So you heard it, guys. So yeah, do what you can. Donate, share, anything, everything, whatever. If it happened to you,
right.
you guys know that you'd be needing some help. So help out Carla and John.
All right.
All right. Have
right. Thank you guys.
Try to make the best of it, guys.
Later, man.
Bye.
Later.
Say goodbye.
All right. So we also have Liam. He just came on. Hey, Liam. Great.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey,
What's
Liam.
up, Liam?
Pretty good. Yeah, we were just giving a little bit of a shout out again to Carla and John. I did it in the beginning. We did it again. I might do it again near the end. So yeah, I think it's very important. They're a CG family. They're great creators. They're just great people in general. So I thought it was very important to showcase them and see what we could do. But yeah, we were just finishing up with Mike Murphy, and then we're going to jump over to Michael Beacon. So did we miss anything, or did we hit everything here?
No, those are all the beats, man. We got it.
All right, sweet. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, Preston's cover looks so damn good.
Yeah,
It
that looks phenomenal. Like that's an amazing cover.
Yeah, like it was jaw on the floor type stuff when I first saw it.
Yeah, you got to pick up that jaw in all its little pieces.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great stuff. So yeah, back this. If he hits 10K, it's going to be full colored. So try to make that happen. Please do. Yeah, throw in what you can. The featured tier is a pretty damn good one. So I would suggest that. But yeah, grab what you want. There's a lot of good prices here. Digital copies, physical copies, both. a novella that comes with one of these. So yeah, he's got great options here. So please check out this book, back it, do what you can, share and support, because that's what we do in here.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No problem, man. And yeah, let's jump over to Seven Legions.
Now, before we get started here, can I address something?
Sure.
Now, Liam, we were willing to excuse the white nipple for Carla and John for obvious reasons, but what's your excuse?
I'm out of the loop. What, we're talking nipples now?
We're talking about the icon. Red has a pet peeve. He's got a very big pet peeve about that.
I do.
Well,
It's not my stream, so I'm not going to make any demands. I'm just saying I would appreciate not having to eye that white nipple.
No, that's fair. That's a fair call. That's a fair call.
My assumption was that Red once dated a Jamaican woman or someone of color, and he used to beat him up for his white nipples. So every time he sees one, he gets triggered.
Yeah, it's a deep rage. Deep rage.
I can neither confirm nor deny that story.
I didn't even know how to add an icon until just now. So thanks for motivating. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Liam. I appreciate that.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're crazy in here. So yeah, Michael Beacon. If it's okay with Red, we're gonna move on now.
All right.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
You got the thumbs up. All right. So tell us about this great project, how it came to be, and why people should be backing it.
All right. So this is the story of Hiko, an orphan who becomes a samurai in feudal Japan's chaotic Sengoku era. And every night he dreams of the life of Azrakal, an angel who served the Seven Legions, which is a galactic peacekeeping force, until the day he discovered a plot to destroy the legions from within. The dreams caused Hiko to be drawn into the war between the Seven Legions and their three greatest enemies, while at the same time his own adoptive clan is under threat from their former allies. So yeah, it's been in the works. It's a story that's been in works for about 13 years, probably since I was senior in high school, and it started off as just a story of a Ronin, and gradually became supernatural historical fiction. Then it just became sci-fi historical fiction. But yeah, it's like a cross between Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and an Akira Kurosawa film.
Wow, that is a lot of greatness right there.
Oh yeah,
dude. Yeah, this book looks great.
Yeah,
I dig it. Yeah, the last stream we were on, I was taking a look at it as well, man. This is another beautiful project. What do you got right now? 4,369.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, tell us about the tiers you got here. You got the print tiers, the featured one.
Yeah, so that's the tier that's going to be your best bang for your buck. You'll be getting the books, all swag items that we unlock through stretch goals. And you'll also be getting 3 prints initially. When I first started the campaign, it was just going to be 1 and with more unlocked through stretch goals. But I wound up getting a decent amount of cash from an old job, like a severance thing from an old job. So I decided to invest that into this comic and give the backers a little bit more. So yeah, you'll be getting that awesome poster with all the samurai. You'll be getting a pinup 1950 style pinup poster of one of the characters by Pablo Romero, and you'll also be getting Carl O'Ro's poster, which is a picture of the 3 main villains.
Dude, that's killer. That's killer, and especially that you went into your own pocket like that to let them know. Yeah, I care about every backer. I'm going to give you something extra special. That's awesome.
So yeah, all backers, like initially you'll get issues 1 and 2, which is a total of 50 pages. But if we hit our 8K stretch goal, you'll be getting 3 issues. So yeah, issue 3 is going to be awesome.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So let's see. Yeah, for $20, you get the book.
Yeah. All back, like this is just the basic level. So you'll get swag items. The first two are going to be the bookmark, which was drawn by Sim and looks awesome. And I colored it. And then you'll also be getting trading cards, pack of 4. And that's just, those are the initial swag items that'll come with everything. And so the physical copy, you get the books, you'll get your name in the thank you page, and you will also I'll also be signing them.
Dude, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, you got the international as well.
Yep, I stole that from Mike Murphy.
Mhm.
Nice.
It's called borrowed.
Yeah.
Borrowed, a great idea.
Yeah.
And you borrowed from the right mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liam, I don't know if you caught it. The name of this stream is Hey Mike, ... and Mike. Oh shit. Yeah, so yeah, here's the it's the 80 or wait, whatever. Oh yeah, there was the international. So this is for the troops. You also get that. That is great.
Yeah. So you'll be getting a copy of each issue, and 5 copies of each issue will be shipped to the troops. And you'll also be getting the prints. The 3 initial ones, and there are 3 more that we can unlock through stretch goals. One by Narwhal, one is going to be by Rob Willis. I haven't got that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And then,
Oh yeah,
That's great.
yeah, there's another one by a CG artist who isn't well known in the community because he doesn't have much of a social media presence, but he's pretty good.
oh, cool.
I met him at Bubba Fest.
Oh sweet. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Rob's gonna do as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we got Enemy of Allegiance. So but yeah, get drawn into the book. All right.
Yeah, you'll be. So this initial round of this, we're actually going to be closing down this and the other tiers to appear in the book. We've been closing those on the 13th so that Henry can finish drawing his pages, so we can move things along. So with this tier for issue 2, you'll be drawn in as an orc. We've had 2 claims so far. One of them was Chris Evans, who is going to be taking an axe to the face from a dwarf on a jetpack.
Oh my
Nice.
god.
Nice.
So, yeah, and that, oh man, you can just feel the energy on that panel. It's awesome.
I hope that dwarf has a ponytail. Just saying.
Well, maybe in his helmet.
Throw a box cutter in his pocket too. Just for extra fun.
Yeah.
How he treats the fans. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Retailer bundle.
So yeah, you'll be getting 5 copies of each book, and you'll be getting you'll also be getting the prints, and you'll be getting a piece of original concept art, which I'll be drawing the concept art, and it's going to be art that will not be uploaded anywhere. It'll be authenticated. It's gonna potentially be a pretty valuable collector's item later on. Yeah. So. It'll be pretty much like owning the first time someone drew, like, say, I don't know, Green Goblin or something. If this makes it big.
Yeah. Totally. Because we don't know with these campaigns and with all of our projects, right? People can play with numbers all they'd like, and what works, what doesn't. But in time, I think we're building up fan bases as we're doing more and more books as well. That's the trend I've been seeing. Learning from experience as well on my campaigns. I didn't do so great the first time around, but I didn't stop. I kept going. And my last one did better than everything else. So I think it's very possible for us to hit any numbers. It's just about how we get out there, how we get proper eyes on books, and I think what we're doing every little bit every day is definitely going to keep helping, and we're pushing them in the right direction. That's for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think if someone does grab one of these tiers like that, it will be very special. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Yeah. So, all right, we got the Soldier of 7 Legions. That's 150. What do we have with this one?
So it's basically books, prints, and you'll be drawn into the book as a soldier of the 7 Legions. And with this tier, you get to choose which race you appear as. Angel, human, elf, dwarf. There'll be a drop down menu when you select that tier. That'll
And this one's going to be closing on the 13th as well.
that will be
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, and 500. We got with Legend.
So you basically get the books, the prints, and you'll be drawn in as a character of significance. Yeah. So in issue 2, there's 2 characters, like depending on if it's a man or a woman who backs it. So if it's a guy, you're going to be basically the mentor character to Azrakal, the angel, and he's going to be someone who if he appears later, it'll be like an earlier point in his life, and just sort of like leading him, and you'll sort of see the impact he has not only on Azrakal but the rest of the squad. And if it's a woman who chooses that tier, then you'll be drawn in as a goblin resistance leader, and she basically becomes like a saint among her people.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
Dude, yeah, those are 2 very, very good characters.
yeah,
Sweet. Yeah, so yeah, these are great tiers, great perks. I think this book looks really good too. Very cool concept. Dude, look at this artwork. Some beautiful stuff.
Yeah, Henry Ponciano, he's the one who did he does the art for Tinseltown from Alterna.
Yes.
And his art on Tinseltown is awesome, but the art he's bringing for Seven Legions he's definitely improved, and he's doing great work.
Yeah, man. Dude, this is excellent.
And then we also got Pablo Romero. So like each issue is split into 2 halves. There's the dream half, and then the continued adventures of Hiko. And the adventures of Hiko are going to be drawn by Pablo Romero, who's doing an anime style.
Right. Dude, yeah, it's you're definitely giving people a lot.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. So yeah, let us know. Is there anything else you want to say about the project? I think we hit it all.
Yeah, without having to delve into the lore. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, well, you gotta give something for people to read.
Yeah.
You can't be giving them every little bit, and then like they get the book, like, all right, I already knew that.
Yeah. I guess one thing that like could potentially be like something that will get people not interested is that the release date, it says I think it says July of this year.
Right.
That is basically worst case scenario. That is if we happen to fund all 5 issues and there are significant delays. So I left a lot of wiggle room. But if
we got to do that.
Yeah, if we only fund up to issue 2, then we could have this out potentially by March.
All right, very cool, man. Those dates. Yeah, never really trust them too much. I mean, they're kind of like ballparks. Because I did the same thing, and I was released way earlier than what I said it was going to be. So that's if it comes early, I'm sure people are going to be way more happier. But if you get those goals up and you get more issues out, that's definitely a cool thing.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be keeping people updated.
Oh, for sure, you got to do that. Updates are very important.
Yep.
All right, very cool. All right, we're gonna jump real quick over to Red. If it's cool with Red, is it cool?
Yeah, sure, man. Still getting used to this, so bear with me.
Oh, we got our friend is sitting in there. He, the real cool Preston, not the fake crappy Preston.
Yeah, good Preston.
Preston Acevedo.
No pussy in his pocket.
No, that's the creator of Doc Salem. He's got another book coming out soon as well. Let me see. How are we on guests here? I guess we got room for one more. I think him and Sim have to fight it out if Sim's still around. But yeah, if someone else wants on, just let me know.
Deathmatch.
Yeah, deathmatch. We're gonna flip a coin for it now. We'll take a straw poll. Hold on, let me stop sharing for a second so I keep forgetting to do this. I'll share with audio. And that way we could actually hear Red's sultry voice as he did his own trailer for this.
From the fertile mind of the Red Gaze comes an all-new science fantasy epic full-length novel, The Sun Sworn. The galaxy has known an age of peace and prosperity under the rule of the Astral Union. Its famed Astral Templars maintain order in conjunction with an aloof sect of crystal-wielding mystics known as the Disciples of Bull. These conjurers are tasked with keeping record of galactic happenings and maintaining the balance. But harmony cannot last. Something stirs beyond the borders and within. A forgotten foe will emerge to claim rule over the galaxy. Join the adventure as our heroes and villains become legend.
So yeah, guys, check that one out. Red, you want to talk about it anymore or any other surprises? It's up to you, buddy.
Well, for the time being, I mean, that's I pretty much summed it up in the trailer there. It's a science, space fantasy. I never really cared for the term space opera. It just seems a little fruity to me.
Right.
But I tend to take more elements from high fantasy as well and put them into science fiction. I've always loved both of those genres, so I like to see them combined as often as possible. Obviously, there's a lot of Star Wars influence in this, but so far I've been kind of pitching it as maybe Star Wars meets Green Lantern, just in abilities more so than the actual setting and story.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a gritty. Well, it'll become a gritty space fantasy. The universe starts off all shiny and lovely, and of course shit happens. And I guess in a way you might be able to compare it to the fall of the Republic. The difference being the Republic is not usurped by a different government. It just kind of descends into utter chaos with various factions going for it. So
yeah.
Can I make a unsolicited suggestion?
Of course.
See how you were calling it the Sun Sworn?
Mm-hmm.
Just get rid of just call it Sun Sworn Edge of Annihilation.
That is not a bad suggestion.
Yeah. Because it's much more iconic. Sun Sworn is a powerful branding name, and it sticks in your mind. Whereas if you shove the on it, it sort of takes you out of it at the start. Like right at the start, you think it's just one of something, as opposed to a big explosive title.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, I hear what you're saying, man.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good name. I do. I just thought I'd throw that out there, and feel free to ignore me. But,
oh no! I like to hear suggestions. I'd like to hear input. Yeah, absolutely. By all means, I will definitely be taking that into consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a powerful title. It's like Sun Sworn is like you will remember that, right? Like that works. And Edge of Annihilation is great. I've always liked Edge of Annihilation, Edge of Extinction. Titles like that are cool.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a good call.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, obviously, I'll more than happy to take advice and pointers as I'm, I've been promoting the shit out of a lot of this stuff, but this is the first time actually, delving into it myself. So
who did the art there that we saw that you sort of showcased? You said it was a novel, right? So is it?
Yes, it is. It's going to be a full length novel. The art was done by Narwhal.
I thought so. Yeah.
What I wanted to do is to try to bring some Comicsgate artists into this and give some people some work. I'm going to include a visual companion along with the book, so you can kind of get a feel for the characters, the universe. And I just thought, it'd be a good opportunity to work with some guys.
Yeah, for sure. And Narwhal's one of the best guys you can get on with. He's gonna be straight with you and produce something reliable with a clear vision. That's good.
Yeah, for sure. And there will be a phenomenal cover artist. I don't want to give that away just yet, but one of the best in Comicsgate.
Whoa, that's some good stuff right there. That's for damn sure. All right, Red, run back now, tear this all down, And
I'll tell you what, this might stay the same when I
Yeah.
actually launch the campaign. Then we might
Just
make some changes.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the stuff. Like, I wasn't trying to be disruptive or nothing, and we're all still in the early stages of development, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Until the
Yeah, for
final
sure.
product hits the shelves, everything can be better.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I do appreciate the advice.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, on air live, we're helping out each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
This is the kind of stuff that goes on in the back rooms, when people aren't bitching and complaining.
I'm so rude, but I like what I see. Like, I like when I see good ideas, I sort of sit up and I pay attention. I think, oh, it'd be even better. Like, I'm a builder, you know what I mean? I like what you've done here. I think that with the overwhelming damage that Star Wars has done to the genre, it's essential that new writers branch out into science fiction and aren't afraid to take on the genre.
Yeah, man, for sure. Do you want to hear a story?
Yeah, that's what. I mean, actually, Vinny's the host, but yeah, I'm happy to listen.
Dude, we're all here. For me, anyone who comes on my show, everybody's an equal. That's how I've always seen it. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, actually, what kicked my ass into gear with this was, I mean, I have to kind of credit Rian Johnson, because The Last Jedi is what did it. I was so just torn up by that movie and just completely disillusioned by the Star Wars brand at that point. And I was like everybody else. I go on Facebook and be like, man, this movie sucked. What the hell is this? What happened? And you would have the sycophants come out of the woodwork and dogpile you up. What do you know? If you think you can be better, why don't you write a story? So I heard that enough, and I said, all right, okay, you got it. I'm writing a story.
Yep.
And that's the birth of Sunsworn here.
No, that's exactly it. Take that passion, take that enthusiasm. Like, people are going to tell you that there's sort of different classes of creators, and that someone's ideas are better than someone else's, but they will never know your ideas until you put them on a page. And you can do anything. Don't let anyone tell you can't, man.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. That's how it is, man. Well put. Yeah, don't ever let anyone say no to you either. If you have a story you want to tell, you push through it. You do it. Obviously, amongst friends and others, we could give each other, some critique, some support here and there regarding stuff. But overall, like, no one's making anyone change, the main brand or characters or this or that. We're all about helping each other out. We're all about telling great stories. And that's the cool thing about all this.
What's interesting is, I've heard a few people describe that effect that Ryan and The Last Jedi had on them. And as much as he's kind of credited as like killing an entire brand, I wonder how kind of by proxy responsible he's going to be for the creation of a whole bunch of other brands now. Yeah,
that's a good point.
We're gonna have to make him a saint in the future, believe it or not.
And I mean, great things can come out of other things. Like, just using Star Wars, it took me a little while to find it, but have you guys heard of Star Chaser: The Legend of Orion?
No, I have not.
Okay, it was animated by some of the same guys that did Snow White and Dark Crystal. It's straight up a Star Wars ripoff. It was one of the first. It was one of the first animated 3D adventures. It's very obscure, but you can see the Star Wars influence through it, and it's pretty entertaining for its time. There's not a lot of other stuff in the genre that isn't Star Wars, right? So,
sure,
true, man. Yeah, I got.
If we're being fair, Star Wars was a ripoff anyway.
Yeah, Star Wars was just Lucas couldn't get the rights to Buck Rogers, so he was like, well, I'm going to do something that I want to do. And he started from the ground up and build his own world. But I mean, it's still pretty much just Buck Rogers with laser swords, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, he put the elements of what he enjoyed, what he always liked. He liked knights and stuff like that. So yeah, put that element and he did his own twist, and it worked.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a damn good idea.
Hell yeah.
Totally. It's great. It's great.
I was going to say, to put people at ease, if you doubt my writing ability, sign up for the mailing list, because I plan to include snippets of writing samples in every update.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's great.
Dude,
No, that's
a-
awesome.
yeah,
So,
very
do you have any books that have influenced you, or any authors that you would say are that shaped you largely in the direction you went?
The biggest influence I would say writer wise would be R.A. Salvatore. I love his books. I love his style. I love his combat sequences, and yeah, for sure. Above and beyond anyone else, definitely Salvatore.
Awesome.
That's wonderful. Very cool, man. And yeah, since we do have Liam on, tell us about your project that's coming up soon.
Oh gosh, okay, here we go. Following the series of tragedies, teenage daydreamer Felix Vasquez unlocks phenomenal psionic abilities, only to find himself the target of the enigmatic Black Diamond organization, a vile conspiracy of gene warp monsters that rule society from the shadows. That's my rough elevator pitch, at least the one that's handy. And it's a blend of traditional old school, anime and manga with sort of Western long form storytelling. My goal is to produce something that has the high octane action and combat of a battle shonen, while still having the same character and depth of Western books. And I'm planning to release it late February, early March. So that's the plan.
I had a question though.
Sure.
You weren't thinking about doing a pre-launch page?
No, I'm not planning on doing a pre-launch page. I'm only going to be keeping the Indiegogo open for the 30 days, I believe. So it'll be a limited window. It's a limited opportunity. But I just wanted to give Comicsgate an opportunity to get involved at the ground level before it goes to a larger platform.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious what you're thinking behind it, why you didn't do a pre-launch. Because I'll be honest, the very first pre-launch I'm doing is on this one is Through the Woods.
Yeah.
Just giving it a shot because with all the different campaigns I did, I just like put them up and went. But so far I've had a good number of signups, so people are very interested. So since I know it's been mostly on Twitter where I've seen you putting the artwork and a little bit of about the book here and there. So yeah, I mean, I thought doing a pre-launch would have made a little bit more sense too.
Yep. Well, my idea was essentially, I don't know who my audience will be. I know who my audience will be, but I don't know how many people that will sign up are actually going to invest. So I wanted to just stick to the Indiegogo campaign for the first book, because then I'll have a list of people who actually backed, as opposed to the sort of a large group of people that might back. And whereas that is useful. I don't want to give myself a delusion of where my sort of scale will be, if that makes sense. So
yeah, because you don't know 100% if those signups are gonna jump on for sure, or if they just want to take a quick look.
And I don't want to be giving any more information to people than what I really am, purely because I want to have something that is there for the readers, and because I don't want like people to try and spin things or twist things. You don't know who you can trust anymore. So it's just, I'm a little.
Dude, I hear you, and I respect you totally on your decisions, man. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it is basically our campaigns and our projects and what we're doing. We'll hear out who we could hear out. Sometimes it makes a big impact, other times it may not. But it's
I know it's a bit dickish of me too, right? But like, I kind of want the people that really sort of take a chance to get the greatest reward. I don't want to just sort of be opening my hand up to every single person that sort of comes along and then have a bunch of people stab me in the back. So I know it sounds strange, but
I don't think it's dickish. I think almost anyone and everyone who's been in Comicsgate has been fucked over, ripped off, or something has happened. I know in my early years, I had an amazing project that got fucking stolen and turned into a TV series. So trust me, I know what kind of shit could go down with snakes. Even if you think you got things copyrighted properly, it doesn't matter. If you change things 20%, or some douchebag sees a great idea you have out, you've been promoting for a while, and then decides we're going to do a knockoff version, that shit happens too. So what are you going to do? So I totally understand what you mean. If you want to just launch it, let them see you at that point.
Dude, I've released pages that don't have actual script dialogue in it to see who retweets my stuff, who takes my stuff, who claims my stuff. Like, I'm so paranoid. Like, I've so that when people actually get the book, they'll know that they're getting like a fresh reading experience, and they get all high quality stuff. But it's just I know that I've got about 17 haters from my current estimate.
Is that it? Wow.
Yeah. It's not much.
Those
at
are
all,
rookie numbers.
Yeah. But I've got about 17 haters, and I've got about 137 active people that regularly, routinely engage with me, which is not a lot. But that's basically my numbers at the moment.
Have you been picking Edwin's brain on your spreadsheets?
Well, no. I deliberately put Liam kill yourself at the bottom of all of my polls. And so all of the people whose opinions I don't really care about usually tell me to kill myself, and they don't vote on the actual opinions that matter. So I just take them out, and then I factor the percentages in. I'm like, okay, that's roughly who I should listen to,
Oh my God.
Hey, Sweens, how you doing, bud?
Somebody was scheming and scamming himself. Liam, stop with the white drugs.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on Edwin. Did you see him this morning? Like, did you see the bullshit he's pulling now?
I think I have him blocked on everything because I don't need to deal with the crazies. I'll poke fun here and there, but I'm not going to follow these ass wipes because.
Oh yeah, totally. I've got him blocked too, but I just see people share screenshots and shit, and I think, what the fuck, like, come on.
Dude, yeah. Again, they're desperate. They're desperate for attention because they know that's the only way that they can make sales is fighting with everyone else. And I know it's all about fighting with the big numbers because it's always a numbers game with him and all these other people. And
well, for someone who talks numbers so much, he should learn to count because his numbers aren't very good and they don't really check out.
Right. Exactly. It's an odd thing, but yeah, I don't know.
We're anonymous, mate. You and me, Vinny, we're anonymous. That's Comicscape's and purely anonymous.
Yeah.
Fucking ludicrous claims like that.
Sure.
Ludicrous.
And that's why
Ethan's anonymous. Mike Malin's anonymous. Anonymous.
Our names must all be fake. Our actions, our voices, everyone's listening to right now. Yeah, it's all make believe. We're anonymous.
Yeah, I know all that stuff I got from you so far, Vinny. I'm pretty sure most of that's fake.
Of course.
I haven't had it checked out yet, but I have my suspicions.
Sure. The 4 campaigns I did, the 7 books that were fulfilled, or 7.5 books if you count the sketchbook. Yeah, that must be all, I don't know, schemes and scams.
They're trying to breed doubt and mistrust within the community because if people doubt, they won't invest. And the worse that we do, because the less people that will invest, the more they can gloat and have their victories. It's pathetic. It's well, there's no other word. It's pathetic. It's straight up pathetic. For someone who claims to be a Christian man, I would be absolutely ashamed.
And a supporter of indie comics, by the way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
See, this is the thing that drove me crazy. I've told Red this before and a couple other people. I mean, his thing was so transparent. I mean, Red, you told me to make a video on it. I might as well just say it on air. It doesn't even matter at this point. His stuff was all nonsense, straight off the bat, right? This will be probably the one time I actually talk about this idiot. From everything that he does and what he claims to be, I'm a supporter, and he tries to throw all creators from some CG under the bus if they fight with him. He puts everyone in the same group, right? It's the group of they fight with supporters, they hate supporters, blah, blah, blah. That is total horseshit. Because the number one thing is, I'd say 99% of all of us creators also are backers and supporters of other projects. So right there, you can't discredit us from that. But if you want to tear this guy down from the beginning and what he is one of the biggest grifters as well. He
And
tried
I'll tell you what, man. You got Edwin sitting there tapping away at his keyboard with his magic fucking math and his spreadsheets, and I'm spending every single day literally trying to get to know my fans. Like I know most folks' screen names who retweet me, who like my stuff. I talk to them, I ask them how their day is and shit. I try and run it like it's a small business. Like you come over to Conquest Comics, you know that Liam's going to be there. He's going to get you a drink. He's going to say, how you doing? You can have a 5-minute conversation. He'll give you your books and you can go on your way happy. He's there turning people into fucking statistics.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, and that's the joke out of all of it, right? Everything that this guy's been doing, the pointing the fingers nonsense, all the fighting, all that crap happened because everyone saw through his BS. And his main plan was get all these creators. I'm going to spotlight them, right? I'll grab all these independent guys, people who aren't being spotlighted by the big ones, and I'm gonna showcase them on a daily basis or as much as I can, right? Because he had another website in mind. He was going to do his own crowdfunding platform. And that was the whole thing about it. It was going to work in tandem with that IndieCron website.
Yeah.
And his thing was, I'm going to get all their trust, all their support. So as soon as they launch their next campaigns, they're all going to come over to me and my platform. And I'm going to charge them.
I'm going to charge them 5% or whatever it was.
5 to 10, whatever magic number he wants to make up, because tick all day long with his numbers. That's what his main goal was. That's why he never wanted, I don't need money, I don't need super chats, blah, blah, blah. This is what it looks like to everyone. This isn't anything specifically. I'm sorry, every fan, everybody sees this. That's why they stopped supporting him. That's why they stopped going near him. And everyone knows that that whole fight that happened with War Campaign was because that they called out his bullshit, because that's what War Campaign does. They call out the phonies and the fakes, and that's 100% what happened. So that's why he went ape shit. He lost his shit. He fought with everybody he could fight with, but his main thing was he wanted to continue the fight going with the bigger numbers. He fought with the little guys, and he saw it didn't really do much. He tried to fight with me because I called out his buddy Mike on a scheming scam that they were pulling. And instead of Mike saying anything, Edwin came running over, made a video because he wanted to hurt whoever backed my first project, which was Through the Woods, the single issues, the floppies. Because he backed it, and he kept purposely showing my book over and over every time he was going to talk about my campaigns. Oh, I got Vinny's book, blah, blah, blah. Again, and I used to thank him back then. But after all the facts and after everything I've seen, I saw that he was full of shit. He's not a genuine person. He's a liar and a manipulator. And what he was been doing to Mike as well, because I think Mike does have mental issues. Something's wrong with him for his actions, what he's been doing, how you betray friends like that, especially who got you out of gigantic jams financially.
Let me tell you what I think about Mike real quick, because I made a video about this a while ago, and it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. I think that artists should be aware of this, okay? All creators, writers as well, okay? But there's this thing that happens to you where if you're waking up and you're spending every single day in front of your keyboard writing, you're creating worlds. It sort of breeds in you unconsciously a level of narcissism that is very dangerous if you're not aware of it, right? We sort of become gods of our own little worlds, and without realizing it, you end up turning into guys like Mark Waid and stuff. That's the reason that the comics pros go loopy, right? And Mike very likely has been sitting at a desk so long, working for so many years, guys in his 50s, that he's lost scope of reality. And that's the reason that you can find him talking about the things he believed from 6 months ago about freedom of speech and how comedians will be the first people under attack and how we've got to stand for them. And then today you'll find him in staunch opposition of those views. But he'll, in his own mind, still believe he'll believe what he originally said, but he's acting against it. It's because he's in his own little bubble. And as writers and creators, I warn this to everyone, you must be aware and you must be humble and you must practice humility, because if you do not, you will lose yourself and become you'll go off the garden path, you know?
Sure.
I know you and I, we've had this conversation in the past as
Mm-hmm.
well. We said that. And I mean, I think that's one of the first times we did chat was that, because I was telling people, yeah, be humble, be grateful. What's happening now is something amazing. You know, we actually have that ability to connect with fans, become friends with them. You know, the support we've been getting, we should be grateful every damn day. And what a lot of these nut jobs have been doing, they take it to another level. You know, if you're talking about the big companies, yeah, of course, I think they all lost their minds. Seeing them at conventions, how they act, how they interact with fans, they all think that they're super rock stars. Anyone who came to my table, I've been to gigantic shows next to gigantic names, right? And I used to have crowds surrounding me. And they go, "What have you been working on? What's your project?" I'm like, "This is my project. You know, it's my creator-owned stuff, or I'm selling some prints and things." But it's not that. It's the connection I'm having with people, because I give them the time of day. Most of these people don't. They just want their balls licked and rubbed. Give me your money and get the hell away from me. That's how they act. And
they talk like they say fan like it's a dirty word. They go, "Oh, the fans." So they'll roll their eyes. They'll think of them as like a separate class of people. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
It's been that way since like the big con boom took over and we started getting more Hollywood and comics.
For sure.
I mean, it's always been there, but it's just terrible now. That married with the nepotism, it's railroaded us.
Yeah, it depends with some. There are certain creators that are still pretty cool or humble.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're not all like that, but for the most part, the ones we're talking about are the ones who are making the big waves, who are mouthing off all the time. Yeah, it's horrible. Or who've come from, you know, hairdressing backgrounds, who have giant followings of feminists and all that crap.
And one thing that like getting so full of yourself is like one of the most destructive things to a creative, because like you won't at that point you will be taking criticism, and critique is like it improves you so much. Like when I launched issue 1 last year digitally, and like I went to talk about it on a stream. I think James Dean Anderson was one of the guys on there, and like it got torn apart on that. But it's like, but that was so good, because like all that, I took all that advice they gave me and I fixed it up. And then like when I was working on issue 2, I would, you know, share the pictures in DM groups, and you know that got me my job on Dusty Tortillas, and then Dusty Tortillas got me my job on Cyborg USA. It's just, you know, you really need to take critique. Always.
There's this professional sort of courtesy that is in the industry, which I from the very beginning have said is a nail in the coffin, right? And it's the idea that you do not criticize other artists, you do not criticize other professionals, right? It's done as to be nice. Yeah. But it also has created an absolute echo chamber. Like go back to the days of like the early days with Stan and Jay. They ripped the shit out of everyone's art. They'd like have a go at people. This professional courtesy thing didn't exist, and because of that, everyone sort of had to get good quick, and everyone did get good quick. And now we've got this sort of weird culture where everyone's walking around on eggshells, and if you say that Squirrel Girl looks like absolute trash, then you know you're a horrible human being, and it's being shoved up as for nomination for an Eisner, while you've got masters like Rob Willis working that are unknown. You know,
It's insane, man. It's insane. But like you said too, it's the nepotism, it's the other games and bullshit that goes on in this industry. It's really gross. And then they'll praise people. You know, there was one who was doing his research about you know, the conservatives and the liberal nonsense that was going on in comics. I don't want to see his name right now because of the story that's attached to this. But I saw other big names and people that I thought I was kind of friends with, who as soon as you know, there was a little bit of negativity thrown his way on what his findings were horseshit. It's, how could you say that? That's the great so-and-so. And right away to the worshiping, the sycophant bullshit I'm sorry, I am totally against that, because I've seen these type of people in their surroundings, and they do act like animals.
Frank
They act
Miller.
like animals.
Frank Miller is a god of the comic book world, right? Like everyone fucking knows him, and universally, everyone was disappointed when The Dark Knight 3 came out because of what a fucking disaster it was, and everyone was quiet. I understand the dude's an old man, right? But you know, maybe it would have been good for him to fucking hear, like, man, this isn't what it used to be. You got to get it up. So by the time that the next book, so he gets working the next book, it's going to be worthwhile. But no one says nothing. Everyone's quiet. They're afraid. Like, what do you think, Mike? You've been quiet this whole time. Like,
No, like, I mean, I know the story. I know who he's talking about specifically, and yeah, in regards to Frank Miller, yeah, Dark Knight Strikes Again was one of those moments. Like, I remember I was still, I think, in art school, and it was one of the first points as a young adult where I was like, I think this looks like shit, and like I knew enough to be able to back it up, but everyone was so lost in that thing of like, oh, he's just being experimental, and they're trying to build a new thing, and it's like, no, it looks like shit. Why can't we just say it looks like shit?
Right. It's insane what they turned it into. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's okay. I mean, yeah, because like I was just. It's funny we're talking about this because like I went back and I watched the animated double feature adaptation of Dark Knight, and that made me like pick up the book and look through it because I still have a trade of the third one that I haven't read yet because every time I flip through it, I'm like, oh, I can't.
Yeah. And I know that he's an old man and he's been doing his part and everything. He's been part of the community for a while. But I mean, I'm looking at news reviews of people screaming accolade for the art, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is this is not on, you know, it's just not real. We've created this weird comic book echo chamber where it's like a cult of personality. Ironically, I'm using all of Edwin's talking points, but like the media has gotten so taken over by everything. You know, like the comic book media is all run by the same people, and
well, for a number of years, it's been like that. I mean, because we just talked about the sequel there to Dark Knight. Again, that was a minute ago for sure. And then there was the third one. But yeah, back then, it's because I remember too when I was first breaking into comics. Like I had a piece that got into that video game franchise that they turned into a comic book, Blood Rain.
Yeah, Blood Rain.
Yeah, she was Mila Jovovich type zombie who was, vampire that was fighting Nazis, right?
Right, she was like Blade with boobs.
Yeah, essentially. So like, I had a pinup that made it into one of those books, right? That was like one of the first pieces I had, and I remember there were two strange encounters with that. One was, I got very sick, so I couldn't make it to a convention that my brother happened to have gone to anyway. So I said, if you could find the book there, could you pick it up for me? So he did, and he was going around. He was showing his portfolio around as well, and he ran into Eric Larson, and he sees the horse shit that they were playing there, right? So there were some people doing like portfolio reviews. He was one of them, and there was this kid that was like in front of my brother whose work was beyond amateur. I mean, there were problems everywhere, and Larson looked at it and goes, "This work is amazing. But you know what? You need to get this book, that book, whatever. I think you're going to be a huge star." And like my brother has this, he's got that eye anyway. So he's looking at going like, that kid looked like he broke all of his hands, then picked up a pencil, scotch taped it on, and then started drawing. Where did he see gold in there? Where did he see the next superstar? Right. Then he showed him some of his stuff, and mine was in there as well. And he's flipping through it, and he's not saying anything because now it's like more professional level compared to what he just seen. You'd think it'd be like a palate cleanser of some sort. He stops on the Blood Rain piece and goes, "See, like a piece like this would never be printed ever.
Oh my god.
And my brother goes, "Oh, yeah." He's still flapping his gums. My brother takes out the book and goes, "What's this?" and throws it in front of him.
Oof.
His head turned colors. Yeah, you're a fucking dick. Closed the book and walked away.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of scumbags who are out there. They're fake. They're phonies. They look at people, their age bracket, what they're coming to them with. So like the kid was young enough that, oh, that's a reader we're gonna keep getting. If I say nice things, he's gonna continue going to those bookstores and he's gonna in the comic shops and he's gonna buy my product because I was nice to him. That's the game that they played.
Yeah.
You know, and there's someone who comes over who looks like a threat. We're gonna have to throw him under the bus because you know how Eric Larson draws. He doesn't draw like he did when he was at Marvel. He's a hack. The shit that he does, his subject matter is pornography. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And you know, on that Epstein level.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen it. People have seen it. It's been retweeted. The garbage that he's done. But yeah, my point being is that's how they are, right? They're scumbags, and like Liam was saying, there's also that echo chamber. There was regarding that same book, right? I was talking to actually one of the producers of the game who had involvement on that and liked my work so much that wanted me on the project, but it was already in full swing. And so like I reached out to one of the artists or something too, or the other people involved. I'm sorry, the company that was involved with it. I said I'd be happy to draw some pages too. I mean, if you need any help or whatever, you know, just offering my services out there. They came back more than unprofessional. Do you know who we have working on this book? Who do you think you are? Blah blah blah. I'm like, is this person for real? The way that they were writing, because I saw some of the pages, it looked horrible. And I'm like,
You threatened them.
Absolutely.
You know, you came over and you went, look, here, I can provide you with this, and they're probably locked into a contract. They couldn't get out of it. And they're looking there thinking, fuck, you know, if this guy says anything, so we got to come down on him like a sack of hammers.
Yeah, instead of going, oh, we're future books or other projects or spin-offs, or we have another book. If this one isn't would work for them, we have some even cooler. Take advantage of that. Not right away. They go into defense mode, go into psycho mode. It's insane what these people do. But again,
there's also this thing that there's so many like talking points that the professionals sit around like little fart huffing fucking talks, but one of the other ones is that, you know, you've got to protect your IPs. That's like that's why no one's taking like submissions anymore. They don't like properly look at submissions, because, you know, they take shit from people, and they don't want to get caught taking shit from people. So they say, no, we're not accepting anything. We won't look at anything, and that hurts up and comers, and that's why everyone hates Comicsgate. That's why everyone fucking hates Comicsgate, guys. Like, it's not that we necessarily point out the flaws in the industry, though we do. It's mostly the fact that we've busted open these floodgates. New talent can come up and succeed on their merits rather than who they know. And that threatens to destabilize their entire failing industry. And so they've got nothing but rage to meet that, you know?
I've talked about my experiences with DC and Marvel as well, you know, years after. It's insane. It's like how I got my job working with McFarlane. Same thing. The thing was, they saw the talent. They saw the talent and said, yeah, we got to hire these guys. They're amazing. You know, I'm sorry. At the age of 19, you become a designer of a fucking toy company unless you got a little bit of skill.
Yep.
That's the only time I wouldn't even say that I'm not humble. It's when you know you do have something special, you could say that. I'm confident about my work, but it's how I treat fans, how I treat people who enjoy what they see from me. I'm always grateful. I'm always humble. I never think I'm better than anybody else. That's the way you have to always look at things. People are your equals. Take that into consideration. You get up in the morning, you go to the bathroom the same way as everybody else. There's nothing different about that. If there is, go to a doctor. You know, that's how it should be. Is you got to go out there. Again, if I'm in the position where I have a ton of money and I have a bunch of projects I'm working on, I can't do everything. Yeah, you bet your ass I'm going to reach out to people who I think are amazing artists, writers, creators, and I'll pull them in, because that's how it should be. What we're doing, storytelling, helping people escape the madness of what the world is right now, I think it's an important thing. You know?
Well,
Yeah, it is.
it's all this stuff that kind of combines together into the mess that the comic industry is. You know, it's one part the whole wrong think thing of like going back to Frank Miller for a quick second. Like, everyone was so hyper defensive of him on an artistic level for like years, but then the second he starts saying, like the second he kind of goes through his right wing period, like in the mid 2000s, well, then all of a sudden, like, he was always a hack and a misogynist and F him, and we just got to get him out of the industry. Then they have no problem throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, you have these people who spent their entire lives living poor and are still kind of poor, but there's a company kind of giving them a lifeline. So they're more than willing to essentially become company men, even though they're contract for hire people. And, you know, you have people defending like multi-billion-dollar companies that don't care that they're even alive. And it's just that thing of like, why do you care that I'm trashing on this company? Why do you care that I'm building something outside of this company? Like, don't you understand that to a degree what I'm doing helps you?
We need reform. You know, that's something I've been thinking for a very long time. Like, even the fact that everyone's freelance, like, these guys aren't like you mentioned it, Mike. These guys aren't company employees even, really. They're like freelancers.
Right.
They don't have dental anymore. We don't get like steady, you know, hourly rates. You don't have like a sure wage, you know, like there's no security. And it's like a constant sort of squabble for the top, like everyone sort of climbing over one another, trying to get up. And you've got people that are sort of working together because they're all politically affiliated and politically aligned, and they say the right thing and they toe the line. And it's tore the whole industry down. And
the yes men. It's the yes men because they don't care, right? You know what's funny? Having Disney by Marvel and, you know, the whole Time Warner stuff over there at DC and all that other crap, at AT&T now, whatever. The thing that I think it was kind of a beauty about them that they bought that stuff is that that's what eventually is happening now. Those yes men, those phony people, what they've done. They destroyed those businesses completely. So now the big boys are going, they're looking at them and going, what the hell's going on here? We have movies, we have merchandise. They're all doing great. How come the main source of ideas and everything, why are they doing horribly? So now they start to chop heads, right? So it's the editors and stuff who are they still getting stock options and this other shit. Like, they don't care. That's why they're not looking to get new talent. They're not looking to help people out because they know that their budget is virtually nothing anymore now, but their position's already secured, so they don't care. That's why you see these editors gloating, showing their fucking trips that they're taking around the world, their food, their shitty choices in movies that they keep fucking posting up, and all this other dumb shit, right? And then you still have some of the mainstream guys that are still friends with those editors. So they're going to keep backing them on social media. Like, yeah, I can't believe people are being mean to you and blah, 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 because they're hoping to get that work. But when the money's dried up, there's nothing there. That's why you see big names now, they're falling off books or you know, if there's gigantic names, they're getting those signed contracts as exclusives because they got to keep the powerhouses in play. All the ones who are mid-level or lower, they don't give a shit about. So that's what those guys are getting antsy, and you know they're going to start to do crowdfunding as well. Some of them might do amazing, some might do horribly, but the thing is, you have to have, I think, a proper kind of community, and you got to show that you don't have that bullshit ego. You don't have that phony that the companies were eating up at one point, because again, they destroyed themselves and they're going to continue to destroy themselves because it's going to get to a point where they don't need comics anymore. They'll release trade paperbacks, reprints of shit. Doesn't matter. as long as something's still going on, they don't need new content, new stories like that. They're trying now with the ridiculous.
They're gonna tell you, well, people don't know what to buy anyway because there's too much. There's too much for people to buy. So we might as well just reprint. Like, this is the shit they say. That's the fucking. Oh, that's a whole video rant.
Well, that was the argument with Vertigo, right? Like, one of the editors was just straight up like, well, what is an imprint? And people weren't aware of what Vertigo was or what we were doing. So at a certain point, why did we even have it? It's like, you know why you had it. You had it for like 30 years and everyone understood perfectly what it represented.
Yep.
It's only now that you're trying to inject your bullshit into it that you just got to dismantle it.
Yeah. It was supposed to be, better stories, more adult stories that people
Speaking of the ethics of this, just for a minute, could you just quickly pop over to Twitter, just real quick, and let's just have a look at how many posts Stan Lee has made since he died.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's a thing. That's sort of the world that we live in. These people that exploit pretty much the icon of who we are. They sort of, oh look, it's all good feels, right? It's all good feels, but they're making money off it. They're making money. He's dead. He's the real Stan Lee. Look at that Twitter handle. Yeah. He's the real Stan Lee, and death cannot hold him.
Mm-hmm. A throw blanket. A throw blanket. That's what's important right now. That's what matters.
Right.
Dude, they're a bunch of prostitutes. They're disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's that scam artist who ripped me off as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Broken Fingers himself there.
And there he is, right on the page of Zombie Stan Lee.
Yeah. Look at these Muppet hands. Look at this. Look at Thor's face.
Look at Thor. Oh my god. How does oh my god, look at all their faces. Like, his Sue Storm is kind of is passable. It's not good. But
see, I don't normally do this, but if it's people who rip me off, I'm fine tearing them apart. I don't give a shit.
How do you fuck up Spider-Man's? Like, look at that face. It looks like Spider-Ham. Like, how do you fuck up Spider-Man's face?
Literally cut him out and pop him up anywhere on the page because he's not even on any kind of level with these characters.
He's got a dislocated jaw.
Yeah.
And the thing looks like he's straight out of special ed.
God, what a...
And how exactly does Iron Man smile, by the way?
Oh. Holy shit.
Sorry.
We need a Doctor Strange in this. Let's just get a little dumb headshot out of nowhere. Kind of, hey, let me get it. I'm in the photo too, right?
It's Dr. Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But like, this is the industry we're dealing with. They're not letting the man humbly pass along and have his time. He's retweeting Kevin fucking Smith and telling people that they need to buy like blankets, like.
But isn't this what it's about? It's merchandise. It's other horse shit. Over here, they got to show, his very old commercial.
Right.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And this thing with the hockey things, jerseys, because there's a Groot on there. I mean, it's all about marketing nonsense. They're still trying to sell a brand. They're ridiculous.
And like I
must have still been following him back then. Unfollow because this is
let the man rest in peace.
Exactly.
The dinosaur comic book industry is the most corrupt, fucked thing that I can possibly sort of. I got nothing. I'm choking on my own rage here.
The worse the industry seems to be going, like I worry about the creators who always say something along the lines of like, oh, I'm not really interested in my own stories. I've just been like looking to draw these characters my entire life. Like those are the people that I worry about, because it's like, but there's going to come a point where you either price yourself out of the industry or they just drop you altogether. And that's where you have to have something that's yours that you can cling onto and develop into its own thing. And I don't think a lot of these people have that safety net set up for themselves.
No, they don't. And that's the reason I'm forming Conquest Comics, man. Like, this isn't just I want to make comics. Like, there is nowhere in Australia right now that you can go as a young teenage boy out of high school to learn how to draw comic books. You need to go to America to be formally trained and learn how to do it, right? Or you have to teach yourself. There's no outlet.
Yeah.
And my whole life, I wanted to be a comic book artist. I wanted to draw Spider-Man, and that was what I wanted to do, you know? And it's just a carrot they'll dangle, and they'll give the job to other people before you, you know, and they'll just keep you there on the hook all the time, making you jump through hoops for them. And you'll end up, you know, in your mid-30s like I am now, and you'll own nothing. You know, like Ethan said that he stepped away because he wanted to make Cyberfrog. Right. And because, again, like they did the same thing to him. They had him there for like 30 years or whatever it was, 25 years in the comic book industry.
Right.
He owned nothing. Right. He'd done amazing work, but nothing was his. And he'd been working as a contractor that whole time. Right. So there's no real room for upward, you know, elevation or mobilization. He was making as much as he could there. And we need to essentially we have to open the door to these kids. These like Odie, like guys like Odie, 18, 19-year-olds that are coming up that want to like make comics, make manga, do things and have talent, but are just beginning their career, right? And because there's everywhere else has doors closed and people are terrified of lawsuits. It's like no balls.
I'll tell you too. With all the nonsense that I've dealt with when I was trying to get into comics or into the entertainment field and all that, I always go back to Stan Lee because when I met him the first time, he gave me the tip off when Marvel was going down the shitter. He said that my work was amazing back then, and he's like, yeah, go. He was try to go to DC. It was at a signing. He was doing a thing for himself. It was. Yeah, there was like a cartoon thing that they opened up down in Florida when I was in high school. And so I went to that thing and he's like, because especially at the time too, they were having lawsuits with him. They didn't want him involved in anything. It was right before the movie. So even when he did his first cameos in X-Men and in Spider-Man, he was unwanted. The people who wanted him there were the actual creators, were the directors or the actors and stuff. They gave him the respect. Marvel didn't want him anywhere near those movies.
Exactly.
But the thing is that they already sold the rights off, so they had no say in it. That's what started, I think, in a way, mending the bridges because they said, "Oh, people do care about Stan Lee. We could make money off of him." It went from that. But I went on a tangent. The thing was when he was telling me how good I was back then, and enough so to tell him to be honest, because that's the other thing too, and that's why I always stress that with everyone I talk with. Any fans or whatever, I try to be as honest as possible, and I treat them with as much respect because that's what Stan gave me when I was coming up, and I never forgot that. So when I heard these horseshit stories from these other people in conventions or when I was meeting with Marvel or DC, I knew that they were full of shit, and they're always going to be full of shit because those are company men, those are yes men, those are douchebags with their own their own means to manipulate shit as well. So with the DC thing, I was supposed to work for DC. Dan Didio loved my stuff. He was ready to give me a contract. He goes, I'm gonna pass you on to my one of my top editors. We're gonna get you work. I like you. You're a great person, and your work is fantastic. I proceeded to speak with the editor he was going to put me with, and I'm going to call him out because I don't give a shit either. He's another guy who started a major fight, and this is how I knew how disgusting this industry was. It's this sack of shit called Mark Curello. If you guys remember, he got the axe recently, a couple months ago. They finally threw his ass out the door. This son of a bitch, instead of putting me on a book or a cover or something, from what I understood, he only worked with top talent like Adam Hughes. He never worked with anyone below, with no newcomers whatsoever. He didn't want to build up anyone. He liked where his little seat was at the table. So this sack of shit proceeded to act like I'm not even gonna say a high schooler, like a middle school child, trying to fight with me. trying to he took my emails and he edited them and he would CC them over to a couple of people if someone else came up in a conversation. This is the kind of petty nonsense that they were doing. And then he would try to have an infight. And I had people from other companies contacting me out of the blue who didn't know who the fuck I was. I didn't know how they had my email. I'm like, what is going on? Because this is how they operate. They don't want new talent. They don't want people who could be a threat to them or make them work, because they don't want that either.
No.
They like their nest egg. They're like their big boy, because if he's working with Adam Hughes, that's a paycheck that I know what I'm going to get. It's that nonsense.
They want everything to be easy and copacetic and a cruise, but they're trying to coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're trying to coast the ship through fucking through a reef, but they're not willing to steer or turn because they've thought for so long they've been able to just keep going straight that everything's all right. Yep. So it's but Dan's a nice guy. It's like it's a pity that didn't sort of pan out for you, but it's good the other dude's gone.
Hey, Optimus. But no. For me, the interactions I had with Dan were very professional. It's when I saw how unprofessional his editors were, and I'm like, this is one of the top guys there. It was horrible, horrible. And a little bit before that too, when I had another meeting when I lived in New York, one of the old-time editors, who I'm not sure what his situation is, so I won't name him. He stumbled in on a meeting I was having. This guy was wasted, and he proceeded to talk shit about a major creator who couldn't get work anymore, insulted him, called him a fat fuck and everything else. And he did that. He did that willy-nilly, you know?
Yeah, because it's normal.
Yeah, because he didn't care who was in the room. And the editor I was having a conversation with, he's like, you could see how nervous he was. Like, oh my God, like, shut up, please shut up. Like, don't you see I have someone in here? And I'm sitting there going, wow, this is who they're hiring. This is who's staying in position in top spots. And this is how they treat other creators.
Right.
You know?
How would you treat me if I end up working for you?
Exactly. It is horrible. And I know after that editor left, like before we were done with our meeting, that guy was like, he was throwing books at me practically. He's like, you want paper too? We have DC paper if you need it, if you're drawing more samples and things. And here's some free books that aren't even released yet. Because like he wanted to almost like butter me up. So I'm like, my experience at DC was fantastic. Yeah. You know? Because he knows this name that was mentioned was again somebody who got fucked over by Joe Quesada. So
but again, we've got to think about this, man. Let's give them a little bit of charity. They don't deserve it, but let's be the bigger people here, right? How did they get to this point? How is it so widespread? And it comes back to exactly what I was saying earlier. They get behind their desk, they get in their little bubbles, and it fucks them. It drives them insane. This is why we all need to be aware of this, because if we're going to actually mend this industry, and if we're going to create a better work environment and a more productive work environment and better stories and a better industry, we need to make sure that we do not repeat the mistakes of those who came before us. We need to keep ourselves humble. We need to stay on point, and we never need to get lazy, because the moment you get lazy, you get crossovers every other week, bland story, and you can have the best artists in the world, but we should be working to get our model back to 20, 40 issue runs, not these like 6 to 12 issue runs that they're doing now, right?
Or like what we're doing these special books. We're doing, it's not just one issue, whatever. I mean, some cases, but for the most part, we're giving a better format. If our page count isn't huge at the moment, we're at least giving them, quality product that, that's far superior than what the fuck Marvel and DC have been releasing. Because like even City of Venus, it's not the thickest book in the world, but I think 32 pages is still solid front cover to back, but the quality is over the top as well. I made sure painstakingly everything that I did in that book, from the drawing to the print quality of the paper, everything was going to be above and beyond, because that's what people deserve. And my here on out are always going to be like that, and they're going to be bigger in page count. They're going to have a more special flavor to them all around, because that's what, as a backer, as a supporter myself, That's what I like, you know, and that's kind of why I even did Through the Woods to begin with, because I wanted to tell my own stories. I was sick of doing sample pages. I was sick of working for other people. I made millions for companies, and what do I get? I get a regular fucking paycheck, and then they forget about you and they kick you to the curb, you know, and then you have scumbags who leapfrog you, who've also fucking stolen from you. I mean, I've had the biggest names in the industry trace over my work, take my samples, copy them. You know, it's not just Casada. It wasn't just that the guy who draws the Muppet hands there, Dotson. Just him. It was other big names, and it infuriated me because they're always protected. Well, I say fuck them. You know, what we have is something special. You know, Through the Woods. This is a story I did with my brother. This was just a crazy tale that was. It felt more like old school comic books before superheroes. That's why I jumped on it, because a lot of people go, Vinny, how come you haven't done a superhero book? I do have superhero characters too. I don't think it's the time for them yet. I think it's time to do almost like our pulp kind of version of stuff. You know what I mean? I dig that kind of thing because that's what comics originally.
Yo, Vinny. Optimus Deadpool said, refresh the Indiegogo page.
Oh, all right, do that.
Boom.
Nice, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, I know we keep going on a tangent. We keep jumping all over the place.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Back to what you're saying.
These conversations are very important, but I want to keep getting back to John and Carla as well. They had a fire. I think, you know, all the support everyone's doing, sending cash. It's a beautiful thing. They need it. You know, if you're in that situation, you know, you know how dire it would be. So yeah, any and all help is much appreciated. That's why I keep leaving it up, or I go back to it. Yeah, we all wish them well. They were on here earlier, but oh wait, yeah. In a few minutes, I'll refresh again. Sorry, I was just looking at what Optimus put. But yeah, because I know it said 26 people, but the number stayed the same.
I thought it jumped up $20. That's my.
It did earlier, but then he jumped on as well, and
okay, cool.
I think it needs to catch up. It always takes a minute, but yeah. And this is the thing, right? Because we're not just creators; we're people too, and we're helping each other out. We have cool projects. You know, even like Red, he did trailers for me. The first one he did was like a complete surprise. I didn't ask for it. You know, the guy's amazing, but it's also because of the support that he's been giving. We've been giving each other. It's cool stuff.
It's such an amazing talent pool of people that have so many different abilities. Like, again, it took me such a long time to find a good colorist that could complement Odie's style, because manga's not usually colored. And, you know, I wouldn't have been able to find that without Comicsgate. You know, it was all because of you guys, and other people have video skills. Other people are great marketers. Other people are great artists. You know, like we just have a full sort of banquet of talent at our fingertips, unlike anything before in history.
Oh yeah.
And we're the living letters page too. The chat is the living letters page that can tell us what they like, what they hate, so that we can provide them with the quality that they deserve and that they've been calling for.
Yeah, man. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, and we're gonna keep kicking ass. By the way, let's get back to the comments just for a second. I do a pre-launch page up for Through the Woods. I've had it up for a little bit. I want to play the video on this as well. Red did an amazing job. Again, this is a ghost story. This was the first one that I had launched, but it was 3 floppies. So this is the collected edition. I went to a brand new printer. It's the same one from City of Venus and my latest art book and the children's book that I did. So you know the quality is through the roof on it. Again, super thick pages and everything. This story, it's essentially about Laura Langley. She's an investigative journalist who's caught in the middle of a ghost story. So it is a tale that started 100 years in the past on this loggers camp that is now her newly acquired property. Yeah, I'm going to play the trailer and you guys can check that out. And anyone, if the volume isn't working or whatever, please let me know. In the beginning, it gets a little bit quiet, and then you start to hear everything. So yeah, just give me a tap if if it wasn't working.
From Frankie and Vinnie Tartamella comes Through the Woods, the collected edition. This edition compiles the 3-issue miniseries into one solid volume for fans of Through the Woods and newcomers alike. Written by Frankie Tartamella and fully illustrated and assembled by Vinnie Tartamella, Through the Woods is an esoteric ghost story that will leave you haunted yet fulfilled. Follow investigative reporter Laura Langley as she unearths the tragic history of her newly inherited home and cabin in North Hudson, New York. This is a tale that started 100 years earlier, when this very land was a loggers' camp in the early 1900s. Laura's investigation finds her learning of her family's past and accidentally reawakens a restless spirit. Find out what else is haunting the pages of this completed series. If you missed the first campaign, this is the perfect chance to get your hands on this epic ghost story. This is the fable of an investigative journalist caught in the middle of a ghost story. A tale that started 100 years ago. Don't miss this second chance to take a midnight stroll through the woods.
Nice. Dude, beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, that really good job, Brad. You're great with it. Like, I marvel at what you guys can do. So
thank you.
Dude, man, yeah, Red, you are the best brother. But yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes back to again. It's these books, it's these great projects we're all doing. Mike's book, The Gods Fear Me. This is book 1. We want to get this one to 10, because at 10 it's going to be fully colored. I think you guys deserve it. Mike deserves it. This project's a need. But yeah, again, we're getting back to I think with Stan and Jack, what all the guys did in the beginning is we're telling cool fucking stories. We're getting people excited again. It's escapism out of the madness of what's been happening lately.
We've got a stale, stagnant industry telling us that we can't. When we've got guys like Mike, who is a low earner in parentheses on Comicsgate and has earned $2,000 over what a good campaign would have gotten 2 years ago. Right? Like, it's just, it's incredible that we have these opportunities, that we're pushing everyone up, and everyone's got so much potential to go so much further than, again, before Comicsgate, where people, they don't want to remember the fact, sorry, I put the fan on. They don't want to remember the fact that that before Comicsgate, like, $500, $600 was the average of a campaign, right? And most people couldn't fulfill. And then the really good ones would do like $6,000, and then you had outliers that did really well, like Way the Stick and shit. But that was exceptions to the rules. Now in Comicsgate, we've got a whole army of guys that are making decent money on their books. Yeah, we are the future of comics, Simon. Exactly.
Brother.
And here's something that I just want to sort of bring out too regarding Sun Sworn and again the Gods Fear Me, stuff like that. The comic book industry, the mainstream entertainment, Marvel Entertainment largely, but Warner too, has they're going to kill the superhero genre. It's going to go the way of the Western, probably within the next, I would say, probably 3 years. So the properties within the sort of comic book genre that are going to be getting the most attention are those that look the least like Marvel properties, because that's not what producers are going to be looking to option. Then you go, this is just another Spider-Man, and then I throw it in the pot, right?
Well, yeah, look what the mainstream has been doing anyway. Scorsese, he shit on all the superhero stuff, but yet he was a producer for Joker.
Right.
And I mean, that should say a lot right there, because
Mhm.
not only that, he wasn't throwing shit at the superhero thing in general. It was in the way that I looked at it. Yeah, it could come off that way, but it was also, well, look what we just did.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
have a great creative team, you could tell an amazing story that you don't have to be all steroids and fucking tights. You could do something that actually means more, or at least gets the audience
Mhm.
thinking in another way.
Yeah, and that's why, again, stuff like The Gods Fear Me, stuff like what's being done with Seventh Legion, these properties that are outside of the box, that are not just really traditional concepts, are really brimming with potential for growth, because they're what people are going to be investing in. These aren't just books that you get to send off to your fans. Every single one of these books that funds is a hard copy book that you can put with a letter and give to an agent to pass along for optioning.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning for all of us, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and it's it kind of dovetails into a thing that Vinny was talking about a minute ago. Like, sure, we may be dealing with content that, per installment is only like 32 to 48 pages, but I guarantee you, with like all the projects that we've talked about today and all the projects going on in CG in general, like, you're not only are you going to get your money's worth, but from a creative standpoint, like, you're actually going to remember and care about what you read 5 minutes after you put it down.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried, because at this point, like, I have maybe like 3 books that I'm reading from DC, no books that I'm reading from Marvel, and except for Criminal, there's nothing that I'm reading from Image. And it's like,
How many of those do you
Mhm.
think you'll remember, that will be worth remembering in 5 years?
Criminal will, and maybe one of the 3 DC books.
That's the top of our industry.
Right.
Yep. That's it.
Hilarious, man. It's fucking hilarious. I know Rob Morto, he got my book, and he told me on air. He goes, and he was so damn genuine. He's like, Vinny, I read your book already like 3 times.
That's great.
Finished it. I've read it again. And then he proceeded to go over the whole story, and talking about the quality. He was, even the care you did in the packaging. He goes, I wasn't expecting that much care and love that was put into how you packed it. He goes, there was no crease, there was nothing. It was stiff as a board. He's like, yeah, this is mind blowing. And I said, and that's what it's about. It's about that personal touch. It's Sim said it, man. We are the future of comics.
Absolutely.
Because we are creators, we are fans, we're people who want to see these things thrive. Like Liam was saying, if they get optioned, these are perfect, man. These books are perfect.
Let's be perfectly fucking honest, right? Like, once upon a time, comic book fans were writing comic books. That's how it worked. Like, that's you grew up loving something, and then you thought, okay, I'm going to do that. You started drawing when you're a little kid, and then by the time you're ready to go in the industry, that was sort of the second wave of things in the Bronze Age. And now we've got people that are like, I really want to get big in Hollywood. That's my dream. And these superheroes are right in the public eye, so I'm going to get in. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to push my way into the comic book industry. And they have no clue what comics are about. They think that they're just storyboards. They think that they're just picture books. They don't understand the culture. They're posers.
Oh, absolutely. And you could see it with people, man. You can see with all of them who's riding whose coattails. It's that same shit, like you said. They see the money, they see what could happen with it. If I sell this project, they're not thinking about what the actual creative process is, why they should act. What story are you telling? What are you really trying to get across with your books? No one's thinking like that.
No one's thinking like, well, maybe this isn't a Spider-Man book. Maybe this is a Blue Beetle book. Instead, they're going like, how do I make this Spider-Man book match what I want? You know, like they're not thinking about continuity of the character. There's a war on continuity, guys. There is a straight up fucking war on continuity, and that boils my piss, right? Brings my piss to a boil. Because like once upon a time, you know, people could get invested, and it was the superhero soap opera, you know, like you'd know who Peter Parker was, you'd know who Clark Kent was, you'd know who these, you know, you wouldn't be a writer that was working at Marvel and not know that Hawkeye is deaf, for instance. You know, you shouldn't be writing Hawkeye if you don't know the man is deaf. But that's who these guys are. They don't give a fuck about what came before because they don't want to read what came before, because they're not fans of what came before. They don't care about what came before. Right. They just want to do their own thing without regard for what they're handling. It's like someone that wants to drive a Porsche, but they don't have their license. They just fucking run into a tree.
Well, it's this narcissism thing that you hear so much from like creatives, both in comics and Hollywood, where like they'll start an interview going like, and we can even tie this back to like Ryan Johnson, like, well, I had to look at this story as what it meant to me. And I'm like, dude, like you're shepherding a franchise that's like 40 years old and billions of people love. Like, it's not about you, dude.
But what does it mean to Ryan? What does it mean to Ryan?
Right.
That's a great name for a video. No, and you're right. That's exactly fucking right. Like, these are things that you know, these are icons of Americana. Okay, these are American icons. These are heroes. Now, you might not think that Hawkeye is like, just bringing it back to Hawkeye is the topic of the day. You might not think that Hawkeye is that influential or inspiring a character when you compare him to guys like Superman or Captain America. But like, he still stands for something, and he still represents a sort of demographic, and he still deserves to be written with the proper care and respect to his own history. You know, like, most people don't know that he was a villain these days. Most people don't know that, you know, most people don't know he's deaf. Like they don't know that. Then those were like, they don't know that he ran West Coast Avengers. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about who his human friends were. Like, you look at comic books now, everyone's had superpowers. No one just has normal friends or normal people they interact with. Mary Jane's running around in fucking Iron Man armor. Like, it's so detached from reality that, like, there's no grounding for the superheroics to shine, because everything is super, and to sound like a supervillain when everything is super, nothing is, right? Like,
that's literally it, man. Because I've had this conversation with other people as well. I'm like, they don't know the characters and they don't give a shit. I mean, if you're gonna go to the largest scale, I mean, it's great that you said that too with the MJ and Iron Man armor. It's that, to me, does not compute. You know, that's like putting the square piece into the round one. It doesn't work. This is bizarre. Makes no fucking sense.
Flash Thompson is running around with a Venom symbiote that gives him legs because he lost his legs in the Vietnam War, like, and now he's like a military soldier Venom. And I'm like, looking at that. Well, he's probably not now. That's probably over and done with. But like, when that happened, I'm looking at that. I was like, it's the fucking Flash Thompson. Like, does Peter know anyone at this point who has not possessed superhuman abilities? Like, even Aunt May was a herald to Galactus. So it's like, what is there left?
Wait, what?
Well, that's just smart storytelling.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Galactus is worried about getting her pills.
No, this was actually back in the day. So she was the golden oldie, and this was back in the days of What If, so it's not actual main continuity.
I was about to say that had to be What If book. No fucking way.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
but it's not that far from what we're getting today.
Well, all right,
You know,
hold on,
like,
right there. Put a pin in that. What you just said, like if they actually knew that, like the editors who are working on these books, because you know they have no fucking clue. If they heard that, they'd be like, "That's a great story. Let's make it happen now in continuity." That's
Right.
how fucked up they are.
Yeah.
That's how stupid they are. They don't
Yeah.
know their asses from their elbows. And they
But
don't know
that's
these
why-
characters.
Good comparison though, because everything is trying to become the What If universe, but for real.
That's why I had a giant fucking rage when Marvel started doing the multiverse thing, right? Because up until this point, Marvel had, with a modicum of success, managed to maintain a relatively steady single universe and a relatively steady single timeline. But when they decided, fuck it, parallel Earths, parallel timelines, and we're going to make a big focus of that for the whole continuity of the Marvel Universe, they pissed in the face of over 50 years of storytelling. And they did so to create a gateway into bullshit for themselves as writers, to go like, well, we can just throw Spider-Ham with him, you know, whenever, and then we've got a team of Spider-Men running around, and, you know, anything can mean anything, and anyone can run into anyone, and isn't it great? I'm thinking like, no, it's not, you know, like
I had a bit of insight on that as well, because I was friendly with Jonathan Hickman and that whole nonsense too of, you know, what happened with that book when they changed everything as well. Secret Wars, whatever the nonsense was, and he's a guy who did not want to work with them. He said it. He was done with them, and they had to throw tons of money at him. He told me the only reason why what would make him go back, and it was literally like if they backed a dump truck full of money through my front door. It's the only way I would come back, Vinny. That's what he said, and he eventually did. Why? Because that's what they did. And then he had his own stipulations, right? It was like, those editors don't tell me what to do. Like, if you want me back, it's X amount of money, and I get to tell my story without you messing with it. You know, it was that type of deal. But it was also their way out. So if they have Hickman doing that, helping them set up more of a multiverse and that type of thing as well, it's because they know he wasn't going to be around for long, or if they could get him back, it's going to be in these short little bursts here and there, right? So we need a way out. We need a way where we could still do whatever we want, and whatever writer wants to come in and do their version of shit, because we're not going to give them research. We're not going to tell them so-and-so, this character, this is how they've been, you know, this is their whole backstory. There's none of that. There used to be, but they don't give a shit anymore. This new wave of these girls who came in, however they got their jobs, I don't know what Zach knew for a fact, whatever. But
it has nothing to do with cup size, though. Definitely nothing to do with cup size.
Or dumpsters or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But those people who are in those positions really know nothing of comics, and they should not be in those positions.
No.
This was like, you know, it was a version of like affirmative action. You know, it's that type of situation is what happened. And that's, again, to me, why Comicsgate kind of came to be. It's because of that. It's we pointed the finger at them. It's what War Campaign's doing. It's what War Campaign is doing with anti-CG. They're calling out the fakes. And what happens? People don't like them for it. You know, that's why we're labeled bad guys. Well, fuck them.
People made fun of the Milkshake Girls for not knowing how to spell because the books were riddled with spelling errors. I put it to you, gentlemen. These women don't know how to use spell check in a Word program. Like they didn't even bother running the scripts through. They didn't even open the scripts probably because they didn't even look for the little red squiggles under fucking words. Like they're not even smart enough to do that, and they're an editorial. Like that is the bar that has been set.
That's work. That's work, right? You got to put a program in, or you got to look at things. No, that's not how it works. I'm sorry. They should have belonged in the in the kitchen making sandwiches. Those girls.
And
Don't worry, guys, because they've heard the criticism, and now Marvel's a lifestyle brand, and they're all about being in the kitchen instead of making books. You know,
exactly. Look, I'll never. I'll never. Go ahead.
If you can't do your job, then yeah, that's where you belong. You belong in the fucking kitchen. that's the point I was making. Just so you know.
I'll never knock someone for taking a job if it's offered to them. Like, you do what you got to do to get paid. But the issue is why they were chosen. And the other issue is, okay, you're chosen and everyone and their moms is saying you're doing a bad job. Don't double down and say, no, you're the problem. I'm not the problem.
They triple down. They triple down.
Right.
Then they take social media and they want that legion of people who are like them, the other women, the other feminists, the cucks, all that nonsense. They want them all to jump on their side and help defend them. And then you have then they prey on the sick minds, the people who really do have mental issues, and those are the ones who are the real fanatics. Those are the ones who are doing the death threats and then whatever other nonsense, right?
Right.
That's the procedure, and that's what they know. With comic books, there are a lot of people who do have a lot of issues, and that's why they jump onto this kind of entertainment, because it's easier for them to understand things. They can take their time with it or whatever. But again, they know what their audience is on certain levels of how they can manipulate them. That's the sad thing. And for the most part, though, like, you have the people who've been reading for all these years. You have people who, the epic storylines they know or whatever. You pissed in all of their faces because you want to, again, put in this poison, this social commentary that's happening that they think it's like the celebrities, right? The celebrities who are preaching about Australian fires, they got their awards, they're up on stage. It's because of climate control. No, it's not.
No.
That's not what did it. I'm sorry, that's art.
For the record, guys, anyone who doesn't know, we fired over 70% of our park service during the wet season. So no one did the burn backs for an entire year, right? And in Australia, you need to do the burn backs during the wet season or the whole fucking country comes on fire. They say, oh, it's climate change. We've had more rain this year in Australia than we have had in the last 20 years of the country, right? The climate is fine. The issue is we didn't have the burn back. We fired all the fucking park rangers.
Right.
Like, people in the big cities making idiot decisions. They don't understand how the bush works or how the land works. Or they're going, oh, we're going to save costs here. Snip, snip. We'll give more money to schools here. We'll do this and do that instead. We'll support these environmental causes instead of actually having people to do the work that needs to be done. And now we've had to fly in American firefighters. We've had to fly in firefighters from like Brazil. We've had to fly in firefighters from all over the fucking world because we're understaffed. And then that wasn't enough. We had to deploy our fucking military. So it's costing us out the fucking ass because people wanted to save money and now they want to blame climate change and get more money.
Of course, it's a fucking scam. And I'll tell you one thing too. I know back in Sicily years ago when I visited, they said that the mountains were always on fire. I'm like, why? Because it was the government. They were hiring other people and shit to start these fires because they would get more money. Like you said, they would get help from other places and they could pocket it. There's a lot of that shit. And like, I have friends in Australia as well, and they also said that there's a super train or something that they wanted to build. And
magically, all the fires, if you look at the map, they are conveniently all up along where the super train's going to go. Wowee. Isn't that a fucking coincidence?
Yeah, that's climate control, though, buddy. That's climate control. But this is what I'm saying, man. It's the same level of insanity, same fucking level between the celebrities doing that horse shit and the media and everyone else trying to push it because everywhere you go, it's climate control. It's climate control. It's all bullshit. People know what's really there, and it's the same thing with comics. You could keep telling everybody, oh, yeah, we're diversified in this nonsense and blah, 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 as the sales plummet, as creators have super fucking big egos, how they're fighting and having lawsuits. Get back to the basics. Tell a good fucking story. Finish your goddamn work. Make people happy, period.
let's deal with problems as they arise, as opposed to dealing with problems as they might be in the future, and as opposed to engineering problems to deal with.
Yeah, it's so much more lucrative to just make problems up.
Yeah.
And they wonder why people don't trust their governments.
That's spot on, Spike 220. You're spot on, mate.
Totally, man. It's insane, man. It's insane, and that's kind of like what my book was about, City of Venus. It was that nonsense of these people who were calling the shots. What would happen if they really got their way fully? They would destroy the world. They want to live forever. It's yeah. I have a touch of that into this story, but obviously I go into fun stuff. It's not the main focus. It's just the background essentially.
Yeah.
But again, you need something that people are going to kind of connect to or understand, and that's kind of like the purpose of why I use that as like a backdrop to tell this main character story.
So where does she come from? Does she have like memories of her past? Like what's
and issue 2, I'm going to cover that more. There's still, like I said, it's still in demand, so people are going to get a chance to pick it up. But I will be getting into it. That's where I'm going to put a little more science and some fun stuff that I always enjoyed. Harken back to some of like the films and books and things or games that inspired me. I mix everything into a blender in my head of what I really liked and came up with something really cool. This project was in the works. Like I said, I had the seeds of this one planted back when I was in high school as well, and it evolved over the years. I was going to make it more of like a lively place, and then I eventually said, no, it'd be better if I go the extreme. I'd rather go more over the top because visually it's going to be a lot more fun. I think the reader's going to enjoy it too. Where I could go with this, and the other things I'm going to be putting in there are surprises. Yeah, this series is going to have a lot. But again, like you don't know when you're going to get bit by a creative bug, and like I've had a bunch of different things pop up in my head while I'm writing, other issues or other elements of the story. So
that's the hardest part of being a writer, man. You've got to stay fucking focused. You've got to force yourself to be on this one thing until it's done. Because you'll start getting ideas for a million other things, and you're going to be really tempted to start putting, like, I'm going to stop doing this halfway and put stuff over here, and it will mean you'll never get anything finished.
And that's the crazy thing, right? So like over the years, that's what I used to do. I would, whenever these things would come in my head, I would jot them down in separate books, or so I kind of have different places, or even on my drawings. Like I would come up with a cool visual in my head. I'd put it down and figure out like this could work into the story like very naturally. Like if I did this or I did that, and I would jot notes. So I have things written in all kinds of places, but I did it with all different projects, right? So like even like Through the Woods, that was a story that my brother and we kind of bounced back and forth, and it just sat. Like I did a couple drawings, it sat in a notebook, didn't touch it anymore. Then when I was in New York, I was doing some freelance work and stuff. I sat down and went, let me think of a cool project that I wouldn't have to go that crazy with. It's more of a contained story. And I thought about that project. I was flipping through one of my sketchbooks, and I went, yeah, what if I did this? And I sat down, and in a day, I came up with what the story was. The first issue, from first panel to the last panel, and I was very satisfied with it. And I kind of went from there. I had my brother take a look at it. He was kind of in a down mood at the time, and I wanted to kind of lift his spirits. I said, well, I wrote this. I remember our characters, and they had different names. It was the title of the book was different, but and I'll be honest, sometimes that is the hardest part, is coming up with a fucking proper title.
Title is definitely a major thing. Like people will make up their mind about your entire property based off not only your title but your logo, just in the first 3 seconds of looking at your book.
So so even like with that one, because when we did come up with the name of it, I had written differently. Like it was like a piece like parchment. It was kind of last minute. Our friend was gonna do it, didn't. So I'm like, fuck it, let me just do something. I hated it. So after a couple of years, like I changed it. and eventually it became the very, I think clean, clear, simple logo that it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's pretty clean and clear.
It looks like a horror movie logo. Like it looks like an old horror movie, like
Right.
DVD case. I really like it. I've said that before, but I mean it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and that's I think simple is usually the better way of going.
Yeah.
But it'll depends on what you're doing as well. But so yeah, like even that one, the way that it came about, like I had my brother take a once over on it, and he liked it a lot. But then he gave me that input, kind of like how Liam he brought up to Red, like do you need the in there, or Sunsworn? I think it sounds perfect as it is. It doesn't need the. But it was something similar with. He goes, all right. What if we change this from a horror book? What if you could just hear me out? I'm like, yeah, I'm all ears. And he told me, he was like, yeah, what if we do Ghost instead? And then he had a pretty cool twist in the concept of it. And like we got rid of the character who was going to have a horrible demise in the first issue. It was going to be a bloodbath. I mean, it would have been woof. I still kind of want to draw that just as like a page. I don't know if I eventually might, but
you've got potential for future issues, different things, recycle it for another project later that it fits more in. Like if you've got a clear vision, there's no reason to completely just throw it into garbage. I mean,
exactly. So like I like what he ended up doing with the draft of the story. And pretty much it had all the beats that I wanted from that first one. It was just we changed the ending. I was happy with it, and I said, all right, you want to write 3? Let's do it. And we bounced some ideas back and forth, and then he just sat down and he wrote the whole thing. Came back to me and like, all right, this will work. We bumped heads at certain parts, but it was just because of like, again, I have more of that cinematic visual versus what I don't know. Really, I still to this day I don't know how he sees things. Sometimes he is very visual. Other times it's just like it seems like it's just a matter of fact. Like I'm just putting this down here. I'm like, well, did you think about the scene? Did you think about the environment, what's going to happen with the characters and this and that, But again, there's also books that if you're still trying to figure that kind of part out of it, if you're a writer or whatever, there are definitely a lot of good books from all different creators. I always talk about Framed Ink. You guys can find it on Amazon. This guy's a storyboard artist, but he breaks down how to tell a story through visuals like that. So because it's not just for the artist, but it's also for the writer. So if you're thinking about certain scenes, like why it would look that way, or the actual technical stuff about it, like certain camera lenses, why they're used, long shot versus tight and close, just to have a little bit of that.
I can't tell you how many artists I've worked with where they've got one of my scripts and they're like, what the hell's an American shot? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to teach this guy how to, I'm going to have to teach this guy. Because a lot of guys that want to draw comics, they don't take the time to actually learn the how to frame things. They just sort of know from looking at what sort of old books that they grew up on, which is fine. But you are very much like as the artist, you're the cameraman. You know what I mean? Like you can look at that page that's up on the screen there and see how the shifting angles really alter the course of the story, the mood, the tone, like
sure.
it's
I like to say every time that I'm drawing, I got all hats on. I'm the actor, I'm the lighting guy, I'm the director. Because in my case I kind of am, since I'm doing the coloring too. So it's like you got to think about everything. And for artists out there, think about the personality of your characters. Like whether you're writing them or not, try to see like if you're working with a writer, what their voice is, and try to figure out like how they would act. Or if you can't figure it out, talk to the writer. Bounce ideas back and forth of like so like this particular character is are they more bubbly and fun, or are they more serious and stern? And then like as you're drawing, you could implement that. You could put it into the story. So even this one, like, you could see she has like a serious look about her. She knows, all right, she heard something, so she's looking over her shoulder, and she knows that she should be hiding. So like she's backing up, into the shadows. She took off her bag so that way she could be more free if she has to attack. It's that kind of thing. So no, I don't have the page up. When they kind of confront one another, you know, and the taller one with the coat on, she's like, you know, caught off guard completely, and you could see how non-threatening she really is, right? So it's like these little things you have to think about, like when you're doing your storytelling, you know, through visuals.
And communication is key. Like you'll have people that want to just sort of sit alone in a room and draw the page. And I'm telling you now, if you're a writer, or if you want to write comics or get into comics, if you've got an artist that just wants to be left alone and draw without any input from you, you're going to have a bad time. Right? You want to have someone that's willing to call you up at 3 a.m. and talk to you about this great idea they had, even if you don't implement it. That's the kind of attitude you want. You want someone who's going to like go like, oh, so what's this sort of character like, and get excited about it. That will improve the quality of your book tenfold.
Sure.
Like,
because you're both going to be super excited to do your best work on it.
Yeah, and they'll understand your characters. A lot of people will just quickly breeze over. You'll find some guys, right? I'm not going to name names or shit on anyone, but you'll find some guys who don't even read your script before they sit down to draw it. They'll sit down and read your script as they draw it, and that is not what any. If you're an artist and that's how you do not work that way, that you should know what you're drawing beforehand. You know. That would be my advice. That's hard-learned lessons that many beginners sort of run into in their first couple of years. So
it depends. If you're someone who's doing all the work yourself, you know what your beats are going to be.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Do a couple pages here and there, but you still have to stop down. You got to sit down and write out like what's going to happen in the next couple of pages. You can't go, you know, completely free like that.
Yeah,
you're gonna
especially since. Yeah, well, I've always likened comic book production to puzzles. It's more like puzzles than it is really like prose. So, like, you'll find these people and they can write these really flowery, long speeches. And those are the pages that 90% of the time the audience will just flip by. They're like too many words. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to make sure that the art tells enough of your story that you have minimalistic words, but you still convey what you want in a powerful enough way. And you want to make sure, no matter what, that you get the ending you want and that your story fits. You've got to make your story fit. You run into so many young writers who are just starting out and they just do not understand the economy of a page.
Right.
They don't know how to sort of space out their dialogue. They don't know how to keep pace in the story going, and they'll just come up to an artist and they'll just unload on them and be like, here, and they'll be like, and the artist will be like, look, there's like 14 panels on this page, and like everyone's like multiple speech bubbles in a panel. It's not going to work. It's not TV. You know, you're not directing a movie.
Exactly. Actually, if you guys want to see, I could show you one of the pencil pages of the pirate book. So
yeah, man.
Guys could.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting to see this, so I'm very interested.
Pretty cool shot of some of the work in here. You know.
Oh, nice.
So
the hit panel's good. That's those top 3 panels are nice there.
Oh yeah, man. So it's So that's going to be the next big project after Through the Woods. There's a lot of other stuff. I mean, I have totally finished pages as well. But I kind of want to showcase a little bit of the pencils here and there. It's going to be a very colorful book as well. So
that does look pretty. That looks really pretty.
Yeah, man. So,
like that blue and that sand. I really like that a lot. That looks real good. And the wood is really, like, the wood of the ship looks really good as well.
Yeah, man. So it's and that's what I'm going for, man. I want to give people something that they can really sink their teeth into, something that's going to be just visually really beautiful, and then, like, you know, have a lot of cool story, a lot of action, because this book does get violent.
And that's a strong male stance that you have there, even though it's from behind, right?
Right.
So his wind's coming in. He's sort of windswept. You don't see him, but it conveys a confident strength as he approaches a new horizon. It's really cool. Like,
Absolutely, man. And
Yeah.
that's what it's about. You got to think about what you're working on. Why things are the way they are, how to convey like that power,
That's
and
it.
certain characters, yeah, their emotions. This should always be something on like the tip of your tongue
Mhm.
when you're an artist, like what you want to tell, what you want to showcase. Make things come alive. Don't do this cookie cutter bullshit. That's why I always kind of stress to people as well. Try to study actual real world stuff. Go in a park, take a sketchbook and just start drawing. Take a look at what people are doing. You have to observe. That's the
That's
number one thing.
why. That's why I made Odie take the next 2 days off. I actually told him I've had him nailed to desk for like fucking chained to a desk for like a year. I was like, nah, you take a couple of days off. It's like, what? No, he sort of fought me on it. I was like, nah, get out there. I want you out there in the real world. I want you out there talking to ladies and doing something for a bit. Clean up your workspace. Clean up your workspace. Get out there. Look at the world. And I mean, this isn't something that's unique to comics either, man. Like Miyazaki, that's a name that you might know, maybe. He's a big name in anime. He's saying that anime was like the biggest mistake that has come out of Japan. And everyone sort of went, what? Because he's like the most influential guy in anime. And he's saying exactly what you're saying, we've got a bunch of people drawing anime and we don't have people drawing from life. So they're just repeating the same stale shit, and their art isn't good, because they're not trying to draw like a little child as a cartoon. They're trying to draw like a cartoon that they saw, when they were little in their own way.
Exactly.
So,
It's the same. I couldn't stand whenever someone goes, "Oh, you don't draw Batman like Jim Lee." Yeah, and I don't want to.
mm-hmm.
I'm sick of people who want to keep doing that. Don't push someone else's style on another individual. I mean, how are you going to have something that's going to be cool, fun, and different?
Yeah, there's a whole documentary on Miyazaki about this. You should look it up. Like, it caused big waves over in Japan. It would be like Walt Disney coming out and saying everyone in animation is shit. Like it's that big over there.
Well, these days.
Yeah, well, that's it. These days, exactly. Like I showed Odie Angel Cop the other day, a couple of weeks ago now. He hadn't seen it. It's like an old garbage tier OVA. It's just fun schlock, right? And he looked at it and he was like, the animation's so fluid. And I said, yeah, dude, like the modern stuff is not as good as it used to be. This is like not our best stuff, but quality just erodes.
Mm-hmm. It really fucking does. It does, man. Don't be a carbon copy of someone else. Do your own thing. Hey, man, you want to raise the bar all the way. And it comes with writing too. I know certain people like a certain style because it's famous or whatever. Yeah, man. Look at other things. Try other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just broke Optimus's heart. Vinny's a Jim Lee died inside. No, I'm not. I'm about 1.5 feet taller. Full head of hair. Oh shit! And I'm not trying to scheme and scam you.
Right, and you're not stacking your comics in Walmart.
Oh my god! Yeah, we'll see what happens with all that stuff. Sales are plummeting, aren't they? With that?
Yeah, they are. There's like 2 Walmarts not too far away from me, and we walked through them like a month or so ago, and that whole like kids section with like trading cards and stuff and the comics, like they just gutted it. It's gone. So all that DC stuff isn't even in my area anymore.
Yeah, come to think of it, I took a look to see if they were still around. I didn't see them by mine either.
Yeah.
But I did run into a few people that Red you could use on your next stream. He does the people of Walmart.
And at my local Walmarts, those areas are like the parts that you just don't even notice, like that little aisle.
Right.
Like you just walk right by, and it's like a perception filter over it.
Yeah, dude, it's the strangest thing to me. But again, they're trying desperately because like their owners are getting more pissed than Disney is with Marvel. They don't like what's happening, and that's why they keep clipping shit. And they're gonna keep doing it. What do you want? So yeah, people, you got to keep supporting great creators like Mike and Mike here. We have Michael Deacon with 7 Legions. We have Mike Murphy with his awesome book, The Gods Fear Me. You know, back these great projects. Sunsworn is going to be an awesome novel, Edge of Annihilation.
I mean, that's like that title, guys. Like, that's a great title. Peaceful existence comes to an abrupt end as a forgotten foe emerges to claim rule over the galaxy. Like, come on. Who doesn't love that?
Dude. And I'm telling you, man, if you are able to do, you know, the audio version as well, you can have all the girls drop in their drawers for you.
Yeah, I'm looking at prices on that now. That's a stretch goal I am looking at, but I would have to probably transform my normal streaming room into an actual studio to do that properly. So I'm looking at it.
You could probably look into some voice actors from Fiverr and websites like that too, but it might get costly. I don't know, but I reckon at the very least, Mr. Gaze, that you should narrate the first, or have an audio reading for the first like 2 chapters or the first chapter of your book, probably first 2. Find a point that ends well. Put it on your YouTube channel. And use that to sell your book.
Oh, for sure. And something else to look forward to. I am going to be doing some I don't even know what you call it. Just kind of snippets, like taking certain aspects of the universe and explaining them in some videos. Like you know, you might be asking yourself, well, what the hell's an Astral Templar? Well, I'm going to make a video for you to explain that.
Yeah, see, that's great. That's always fun.
Beautiful. And yeah, I want to say, Optimus, dude, yeah, thanks for the reminder. Updated it, $740 now out of 1,000 that they were looking for.
That's awesome,
dude. That's fantastic.
And if Ethan or someone else is streaming sometime tonight, super chat him and let him know about this. Get the word out to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like if this,
go ahead.
Yeah, if this gets on Ethan's stream, if he starts talking about this, it's gonna be no problem.
Yeah, man, my fingers are crossed. I dropped it into some of our private groups as well that he's in. You know, I hope he did. I know he started following at least Carla, I believe. So that means he is aware of them. So yeah, definitely. If you guys get a chance, drop a super chat and by Ethan if you see him streaming next. It's a great idea. Bring this up. You know, copy the link, send it over as well. Yeah, next time he streams as well, I'm gonna run over and I'm gonna drop it in because I'm a moderator there as well. So yeah, definitely help out the creative team on Grim Reaper, Carla and John. They're fantastic, great people who need the help. You know,
they really are great people.
They truly are. I had them on back-to-back shows. You know, not for nothing. It's because they're really great, and they truly care about. There's so much passion in their project. I have it. You know, they were about to release issue 2. We're going to talk to them on Saturday over on Red's channel. We're going to see what, you know, what's going on with that, if they're still able to do it or not, because they were very close to finishing it. John was on earlier with Carla, and you know, he mentioned it. So we'll see where they're at on Saturday. So make sure get over to the Red Gaze, you know, join that community. He's a great guy. He's got some great streams. If you're here, you're aware of Red.
Probably, yeah. Speaking of, do you mind if I mention something quick, Vinny?
Go for it.
We were going to have the usual gazing into the abyss tonight. That unfortunately we have to cancel because of circumstances, but we're just going to move it to Thursday. So keep an eye out for that.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. Yeah, so you heard that. Again, check out City of Venus. Still in demand. Not sure how much longer I'm going to keep it in demand for, because I know when I get another big campaign going, which is Through the Woods. I'm launching this in a couple of short weeks. It's going to be released this month. I said February, but I think I'm gonna do it earlier. So yeah, sign up for this as well. Again, it's the first time I'm doing it, so I'm still trying to figure out, you know, the best way of contacting everyone when it launches. Not sure if Indiegogo notifies them as soon as it's live or if I got to do it. But yeah, it's a learning process. This is my 5th campaign, and I'm still learning.
You're a machine. You're a machine.
Trust me, man. I've been burnt the fuck out. So I'm taking it a little bit easier this year. That's why this is the first campaign. The next one's the pirate one. I'm still currently working on it. And then City of Venus 2 is going to be right after that. So and
2020.
Yeah.
2020 is the year of the champions. 2020 is the year that we are all going to take on our competition. We're going to smash them. This is year to grow. This is year to succeed. This is a year to sort of step over the heads of those people that have been trying to drag us down. So this is the year that you're going to be big. This is a year that everyone's going to be big.
Hail.
For
Like
sure.
the sound of that.
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
crushing it. So yeah, man, and that's thanks to everyone who's listening, everyone who's retweeting, who keeps getting the word out. You guys are absolutely amazing. We love you to no ends. Before I forget, tomorrow, War Campaign, we're doing the drawing competition again, and it's going to be Liam's characters. So
Oh, nice.
that's
Nice.
going to be
Yeah.
killer. I don't know if I should have dropped that, but
Well, it's out there now. It's in the world. No, but it's really great. Odie's going to try and be there too. I'm going to have him in there. So that'll be one of his first big streams for all you guys, getting to know you.
absolutely.
Everyone's going to be drawing, having fun. And since we're wrapping up, I'm guessing, I just want to tell everyone that CG Jumpstart Between the Panels #9 with Andrew Huerta is currently on Art City Comics. So if you guys want to pop over there after this stream ends, that would be great.
So anything else anyone wants to say before they jump over?
No, that's all the bullet points, man. We got this.
Yep.
Sweet. Everyone's like, our bladders are gonna explode. I didn't realize this is like my second longest stream. This is 46 minutes. So yeah, thank you everybody. Please back these projects. Please continue to help out Carla and John. And yeah, remember, be kind to one another. Keep creating. Be awesome. Later, guys.
Peace.
Later.